tumultuous year, Australia's professional golfers, both men and women, are delighted to be back in action on home soil on Melbourne's Mornington Peninsula at the beautiful Rosebud Country Club for the inaugural Players Series Victoria Tournament, hosted by former US Open champion Jeff Ogilvie. A big welcome to PGA TV's coverage of the third round on slightly overcast but very pleasant conditions in Melbourne. Hello everyone, a terrific afternoon's golf ahead. Great to have professional golf back on home soil, and two people who know all about that, Stacey Peters and Nick Ahern. Fantastic to have you with us.
Hey, thanks very much. Really excited to be here.
It's a unique format, which we'll get to in a moment, Nick, but it's just exciting for these golfers that a lot of them have been twiddling their thumbs for a long period of time to be back in action and playing for a prize pool.
It's been a tough 2020, as we know, but, you know, the golf is back on. We've got a nice run of tournaments coming, and this week is very unique and exciting.
It is unique. Stacey, tell us a bit about it, because the men and women are genuinely playing together, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. We've got the unique new format with the PGA and WPGA. Both men and women, they're going to be competing in the same field for the same prize purse. Same pars with scaled tees. And then the juniors will be joining the professionals on the weekend for a separate competition.
Yeah, which is just terrific experience for the juniors as well. It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out, Nick. I mean, we've certainly seen with a few tournaments like the Vic Open where the men and women have played in the same tournament but not for the same prize.
It's been unusual there. I mean, I've played the Vic Open before a couple of times, and the one thing I always wanted to do was play with the ladies, and it just never quite happened. And now playing for that same purse, it's, you know, a little bit of banter down the stretch. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All
right, well, it's a fantastic leaderboard. There's some great golf ahead, so let's find out what the conditions are going to be like out on course. And with thanks to Tag Heuer Golf, we're joined by Brendan Goddard. BJ.
Well, thanks, guys. It's great to be back here, part of the PGA TV golf team, and what a wonderful event we have kicking us off here at the Rosebud Country Club. Weather conditions today, well, they're a lot more favourable than they have been Thursday and Friday for the players. Winds out of the southwesterly ranging between 20 and 30 kilometres, and the golf course is in wonderful condition considering the amount of rain we did have yesterday. I stand here adjacent to the 16th green, 15, 16, both back-to-back par fives. If players aren't turning here in 1 under par, they're going to be losing shots to the rest of the field. Can't wait for the weekend's golf. Back to you guys.
Good stuff. Thank you, Brendan. He loves it out on course. We'll get all his thoughts, and he'll also catch up with some of the stars. Well, we talked about a great afternoon's golf. The men and women competing. Jeff Ogilvie as the host. He's put together two great rounds, consistent rounds. He's 8 under after a 64. He led the way with Nathan Barbieri on the first day, 8 under, but there's plenty coming for him and who potentially could come both young and old.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic to see on that leaderboard, especially Steph Bunky making her professional debut this week. She's really put herself out there and putting herself in the mix, got herself up the leaderboard yesterday. It's great to see.
And the host of, you know, the hostess with the mostest at the moment, Jeff Ogilvie, that tag is certainly suiting him well. He's played well over the first 2 days, and see how he goes over this weekend.
Well, it's always something a little different, isn't it, when you are the tournament host? You've probably got so much on your mind, but actually going out there and performing, and certainly for the, not so much the credibility, but the, I guess the interest in the tournament is strengthened, isn't it, by Jeff playing well and actually going in as the overnight leader.
Yeah, I think some would say we've scripted it this way, but no, it's fantastic to have him up there. If he's up there after today, it'll be even better. All
right, they'll certainly be putting the pressure on him. Let's get out to the Titleist range, and Brendan Goddard has caught up with Jeff Ogilvie ahead of today's third round.
Now, Jeff, overnight leader, 1 shot. Last time you led a tournament, 2010, I think, Australian Open. Is that correct? How do you feel about it?
After 2 rounds, probably. I think I was a 3-round leader in Reno, sort of 4 or 5 years ago. But 2 rounds, yeah, it's nice. It's really good. I didn't come expecting much. I've played less golf in the last 12 months than I've played ever, probably. So, like everyone else. Made a bunch of putts on Thursday on a tough day and kind of struggled on the greens yesterday, but kind of snuck out with a 1 under. So, good spot after 2 rounds, and lots of good players around up top, including like Sue and Stephanie and that. So, it's going to be fun.
Now, the Players Series is your initiative with the PGA of Australia. Tell us about it, what it's all about, and how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like golf for so long has kind of separated amateurs and pros and guys and girls, really. And why don't we just have a few tournaments? They don't have to be big scale, but just let's get everyone in the same place, get the best players we can rustle up, pro and amateur, and just get them all and give everyone the pros a chance to sort of make a bit more money, the AMs a chance to get a bit of experience in a 4-round sort of pro tournament, and so far it's gone really well. It's been received by everyone, and hopefully we can kind of repeat this and do more and more of them.
Now, one of your aims, you talked about openly about the experience of the amateurs and what they get playing with, guys like yourself. You won't throw your name in there, but experienced guys, PGA Tour winners, major winners, and the experience those guys are getting, and girls.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, that's the stuff that we didn't have. And the few glimpses when we got lucky enough to qualify for Australian Open or something and maybe get a good draw, that was amazing. But this is like creating opportunity that just hasn't been there before. And like in any sport and anything, as you would know, the only really way to raise your level at some point is to just play with people who are better than you. And so we're creating that opportunity for all these kids and the young pros and experienced pros, and just to put everyone in the same mix, and it's just going to make everyone better.
Now let's go back all the way to Thursday, your first round, 64 in really difficult conditions. Tell us about that round.
Yeah, it was. I mean, starting the day, I thought anything under par would have been good. Made a few putts early, made 3 or 4 kind of really decent sort of round-saving putts in the first sort of 5 or 6 holes, and then played really well after that. And this course, it was a very windy day, but it was the wind that made it play the easiest, I guess. You could drive it up right next to some par 4s, and the par 5s didn't play too long, so it was all on. And yesterday I played kind of just as well, but just didn't have the putts go in the hole. So 64 to start the week is always nice and sort of gives you a good platform to build on. So maybe another one today.
Yeah, well, good luck. Favourable conditions today, a lot better than the last couple of days. So play well.
Yeah, it's better. It's like the 3rd different wind we've had. We've gone northerly, easterly, westerly, southerly now today. So a new challenge again. The greens will be a bit faster, I think, today. It looks like they've cut them a little bit slicker this morning than they did the last 2 days. So, it'll be a different test, but we'll see.
Yeah, good luck. And back to you guys.
Thank you, Brendan. Some good numbers have been posted already, and it's exciting with a youngster on the rise. Elvis Smiley has shot a 63, 8 under for the day and 8 under for the tournament. Here he is finishing up at 18. So Elvis Smiley, very big raps on him, and of course he's got Michael Clayton, a veteran, on his bag, and his mum, of course, Liz Smiley, a famous tennis player from Australia, and he caught up with Brendan after his round.
Now we're here with Elvis Smiley, 8 under today, mate. You must be pretty happy with that round of golf.
Yeah, it was pretty good today. I didn't do too much wrong, and I think I only missed 1 green. So, a lot of fairways, a lot of greens, and made some putts, which was nice.
It must leave a sour taste in your mouth, bogeying 18 when you're 6 under on the back 9.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's golf. I mean, I didn't finish the way I wanted to, but, I mean, there's so many positives during today's round, and I've given myself a chance for tomorrow, and, looking forward to it.
What has been the difference between, say, round 1 on Thursday and your last 2 rounds, because you played really good golf yesterday?
Yeah, the first round, it was pretty tough. The wind really got up, and I just struggled hitting, as cliche as it might sound, I just didn't hit any greens. I didn't give myself any chances at birdies and was struggling for pars. But today it was completely different, kept it simple, went out and did what I was capable of doing, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Now you got an old veteran on the bag, Mike Clayton. So was it a case that you just stopped listening to him and his advice? Was that the difference today?
Yeah, he wasn't too bad today. I'm actually staying with him this week, so I better not throw him under the bus. But he was awesome. He's caddied for me before the Australian Open last year, and we work really well together. And he's a great bloke. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
And going into tomorrow, how is your headspace? You played in a number of pro events before, but potentially, we talked about it before, hopefully it keeps blowing, or it does blow harder for your sake. But how's your mindset going into tomorrow?
Yeah, it's really positive. Obviously, my golf's there, and my mind's pretty strong at the moment. And I've won some big amateur events, so I'm just thinking of it something like that. And I'm just ready to rock and roll tomorrow.
Yeah, well, good luck, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brendan. Exciting for Elvis Smiley, that's for sure. Now we're heading out to the 8th green for live golf, and our lead group with Jeff Ogilvie out there as putts are coming up. Tell us what to expect on this 8th hole.
Well, it's actually played over par the last 2 days. It's probably back into the wind today, I'd say, with the sou'wester. So it's a pretty strong hole, 410 metres off the back tee. So you need 2 good hits to get there, and if you knock it on in regulation, it's never a bad thing on a hole like that. I've got the pin located in the front left-hand corner today, which is a bit more accessible from the fairway. Yesterday it was tucked behind the bunker.
Let's get to Brendan.
Jeff's got about probably just over 20 feet here. He's been pretty regulation today for the first 7 holes, hitting a pin high. Probably hasn't hit anything inside 15 feet, but he's got a bit of right to left to back into the wind. Again, another putt that looked like going in about 6 feet out. So As Jeff highlighted in his rounds, that his difference between his 2 rounds was just holding putts, and today's no different. Hitting it good, hitting fairways, hit every green. Not where he's struggling, just not holding enough putts.
So that's been the story of his day so far, BJ.
Yeah, it has. It's been seriously regulation. He's hit everything in the right spots, pin high. If he had to go long, he's gone long, and just he's missed a couple of shorter ones, probably on about 10 to 12 feet, but everything's been probably between 15 to 20 feet. So young Abel here, he's got off to a ripping start. He's ripped driver down the first in his first pro event. Hit 8 iron to about 10 feet pin high. Impressive young kid out of Q, so he's got this for par. Hit it left off the tee into the trees. Looks to have an unbelievable short game. He's missed a couple of greens short side himself, and he's made a couple of ridiculous up and downs. So David Mikaloozi's next to go. He struggled at the start of the day. Hit a first tee shot out of bounds to the right. Hit a snap hook off the necks. Playing a bit of catch up, but he's hit an absolute bomb down here. Left himself with 75 metres into this hole, which Nick touched on. It was playing roughly about 400 metres today, slightly off to the left, and he's hit this to about 6 feet. And one thing about David's game is he's unbelievable putter, so I'm not sure if Dave or Stace can elaborate on that, but it's one of his strengths.
Yeah, definitely. His short game is a huge strength. He's put a big focus on it through COVID.
There you go. Never looked like missing.
Didn't make a liar of us.
He's got a few to catch up. Didn't know.
One of the few to have a better round on day 2, a 68 followed by a 67. And you can see, as Brendan mentioned, a real struggle at the start on a couple of the holes, the par 4s, which has generally been a reasonably friendly way to start for the players through the first couple of days. So they're tidying up to do here. And as we did mention with Ballyard, one of the juniors that getting fantastic experience out there today, playing with professionals like Jeff Ogilvie or some of the other young and up-and-comers. It's just a fantastic day for them and part of their learning curve. So let's have a look at just a couple of other highlights already from the day. Kirsten Rodsley was one who has put together a terrific 18 today, 7 under 64, and here she is finishing up on 18 with a birdie.
Yeah, Kirsten's been in some great form of late. She's actually the current Port Phillip and Vic Am champion. She's in some great form and obviously really put herself up there.
Finishing strongly, and young Jack Holland, who, you know a little bit about Nick, here he is on 8 looking to make birdie.
Yeah, the 18-year-old from Royal Melbourne, a fantastic player, heading off to college, I believe, this year, to Colorado, hopefully if they can get over there. But an amazing young man, a very smart young man too. I heard he had 99.1 in his ATAR on the BCE, so that's almost Bradman-esque in that sense.
Back at the top of the leaderboard at 9 under, he's picked up 2 shots through the day. Nathan Barbieri and Elvis Smiley, as we said, put together a fantastic round of 63. Matthew Miller's also jumped up with a 6 under round. He's also back in the clubhouse. Good to see Joey Choi as well there. Through 12 has picked up 3 shots to jump up to -8. Stace.
Yeah, fantastic to see a couple of the female amateurs up there, Dowie and Kirsten.
Bryden McPherson another, and David McKenzie -3 through 13. Jake Higginbottom was out early today. A fine round for him, -5. Aaron Pike, who's been pretty solid through the tournament so far, he's 1 under for the day. Like Marcus Fraser, who'll be another who'll be dangerous. And a local James Markhasani, who we'll hear more about later on, has put together a good round too.
There's obviously some low scores out there. They're really, those ones that got out early, maybe before the wind a little, have really put themselves in the mix for the final day.
Yeah, great mixture of experience, as we've said, and youth playing through this tournament. Andrew Dote level for the day, Scott Strange as well. Daniel Fox was up there for quite a bit of the first couple of days. Matthew Griffin, another one who's just struggled a little bit. He's dropped a couple of shots. To be back at -4, he was the leader for much of yesterday. He's going to be disappointed in that.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you get out early today, you can really post those numbers, and as you said, the later players, they're going to cope with a bit more of the wind, and given all the rain yesterday, the greens have held up amazingly well, but might get a bit bumpy as we go along. But Ian Todd and his staff there at Rosebud have just done an amazing job getting this golf course to the standard that it is. And I think everyone who's been there this week, myself included, just have absolutely loved what a gem of a place it is.
Yeah, it's been presented so well. They've done so much work, to get it up for this week. It's been great to see a lot of the members get behind this event as well.
Zach Murray says there's names all the way down to the bottom of those that made the cut. And as we mentioned as well, the juniors get just an outstanding experience just getting to play alongside some of the big names, but they'll be looking to perform as well, and what an opportunity for them to show their stuff on a big stage.
Yeah, I mean, this is experience, money can't sort of buy. And we could just see by that leaderboard there's some great up-and-coming golfers here. It's going to be exciting to watch over the years to come.
What sort of benefits do you get out of that, Nick, do you think, as being out there and playing on a day, on a weekend like this?
It'll be just a fascinating experience for them, I think, just to be exposed to what a professional golf tournament's all about, and with some of the best players, obviously, in the country and Victoria, for that matter. I mean, these are the sort of opportunities you get where almost a star in the making comes along and just shoots a score out of nowhere, and you go, wow, okay, let's keep an eye on him. And there's a number of young players there that I know about. Harvey Young's one there. I know he's a fantastic player from Royal Melbourne and Peninsula Kingswood, and look out for his name going forward. But for all these juniors, just to rub shoulders with the experienced players and to pick their brains is a big thing, a part of it as well. If they're open to it, obviously they're playing a golf tournament, but I'm sure most of the pros are very accessible and happy to chat with these young players as well.
So we're going to keep an eye on the juniors as well through the afternoon, but we'll take a break. There's plenty of live golf coming up this afternoon, a terrific leaderboard with Jeff Ogilvie, his own tournament right up there. It's the Players Series, Victoria, live from the Rosebud Country Club, and we can't wait to bring you all the action. We're back with more in a moment.
I don't know, I think they'll be pretty excited. Probably a little nervous to hit some shots in front of Sue and I. So we'll see, it'll be good for them, and I'm sure they'll have a really good time. And we'll have a good time too.
Oh, they pulled it.
Really, it's just going straight at the pin at this 140. So any guidance for them?
Sometimes you forget to breathe, which sounds silly, but you breathe really shallow. So if you can take a big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good swing.
A little indecision here, but I think 8 will be good. We'll see how we do. As long as I get inside Sue, I'll be happy. Oh, goodness. That's a long way from the hole.
That's a long cut.
What do you guys try to do to keep the nerves from overcoming your emotions and stuff?
Just know that if you're nervous, I'm sure there's someone else in that group that's probably feeling the exact same way.
Great shot.
Oh, great shot.
That's a
Dance
winner.
together for our Bell. That's unbelievable.
It was honestly amazing. I didn't expect this at all. Them just taking their time out of their day. It was just unbelievable.
I was pretty surprised as well to have a talk to them and personally address us. That's pretty cool because I just watch them on TV. Yeah, it was pretty cool to actually do it and beat them.
Yes, everyone gets a chance in the Players Series, gets a terrific opportunity. We're heading to the par 5 9th now, and Matthew Griffin and Nathan Barbieri are there, and Barbieri is our leader at the moment at 9 under by 1 shot, and it's been interesting with the first of the par 5s. It's rated second easiest on the course, but It's been a little bit tougher than that over the first couple of days, particularly on the opening day, averaging 4.96. So it'll be interesting to see how they play today.
Yeah, Griffo will be looking to get one back here after a rough start to his round. But here we've got Piper Stubbs putting for birdie. Looks like she's come up a little bit short. Piper's one of the young juniors in the field this week, and what an experience they're getting. Piper's a part of the VIS development squad, so she's been able to train with them down at Sandringham.
How much interruption have they had with COVID last year?
Yeah, they were really, weren't able to get to a golf course for a long period of time there. But then the VIS with Golf Australia as well really tried to give them some opportunities to practice throughout, some supervised practice. Here we've got Barbieri. He's just left that short in the jaws. Very disappointed here. Round one leader.
Yeah, what a start to the tournament. A 61, 10 under. And then, I guess somewhat predictably, fell back a little bit yesterday. Found the going quite a bit tougher with a 74. But he's back on top of the leaderboard.
It's amazing how that happens too when you have such a low round. I wonder if they did stats on that, what the variation is between that round and the next one, because it always seems to happen where it's hard to follow it up back to back.
Have you got a theory, Nick?
Golf.
that's the answer to a lot of questions in golf, isn't it, really?
It's fascinating, the biorhythms of the body and wake up the next day, nothing's feeling quite the same. You almost want to start your round straight away after that first one. So anyway, here we see Matthew Griffin just putting slightly downhill on the par 5 ninth. Not a great start to his round, but see if we can roll this one in.
Oh, and he can't. You can see the look on his face as he lets the opportunity slip.
Matt's obviously had a tough year, not being able to get up to Japan, and in the end really chose not to due to COVID restrictions and having to quarantine. And yeah, was able to spend the most time at home he has for a long, long time. So I think he enjoyed that with his young son.
Yeah, new experience for a lot of golfers, wasn't it, to be home for so long?
There we have Piper Stubbs cleaning up for par on the 9th.
Royal Melbourne Club champion, I believe. Is that right, Stace?
Oh, I think you're spot on there. Yes.
So let's have a look at this 9th hole. I mentioned it's the first of the par 5s. It's 2 on the back 9, but this is how they finish off the first 9 holes.
So this 9th hole, it's a dogleg left. 500 metres, very reachable today for the men, and 420 metres for the ladies. Wind's going to be out the right today from the southwest. The ideal driving position is centre to the right centre. That gives you a look at the green because it's slightly blind shot from the left-hand side. You've got these cross bunkers about 90 metres short of the green, which you obviously want to avoid. You can either lay up just to the right of them, give you a little wedge, third shot, into quite a big green, little tier up the back left, which slopes from back left to front right. The pin today is located at the front right. 11 paces on 5 from that right-hand bunker. So anywhere left of that pin is a good shot. Right side, it's going to be pretty tough.
Second shot at 9 then. Edward. Great to get a sense of these holes from the OFX Skycam. Those drone flyovers. And what the players have to contend with. That's a decent shot in.
Sets up an eagle opportunity for him.
Let's head down on course with Brendan Goddard.
Thanks, guys. Jeff's got 190 flag, 179 front. And as Nick mentioned, the worst miss is short right. So he's got a bit of room left. Great drives from all these guys. And that's headed left. He's not going to be happy with that. But as we said, that's the best miss at this green.
Even a man of
Mikaloozi's.
Even a man of such his experience, you can see in his facial expression so far with those putts we've seen miss and then that shot there, BJ, he's just holding it together.
He is, yeah, it's, as I said, pretty regulation, but he's probably getting a little bit frustrated because he just needs a few putts to go in. So Dave Mikaloozi, he's a metre in front of Jeff. So he's got 189 flag. And that's gone way, that's further left than Jeff, so he's not going to be real happy with that. But as you mentioned, they're blinded by this second shot with those bunkers on the corner, but that's a 10-15 left of Jeff.
But that's okay. That's plenty of green to work with, and they can, with their short games, get that up and down and keep the round going. You just birdied the 8th hole, so definitely staring at another birdie there on 9.
What's the mental approach to a par 5 versus a par 4 as we head to Group 23? Nick, from your point of view, particularly if you not so much on that 9th hole, but later on when there's a par 5 that everyone's been birdieing, does it affect you, or do you just treat it as almost as a par 4?
It's interesting. I have a theory on pars, because par's kind of irrelevant. If you call it a 450-metre par 4, everyone thinks, oh, that's a tough hole. We call it a par 5, and it's an easy hole. So there's a bit of a mental element there for sure. And in the positions that they were in the middle of the fairway, you're definitely looking at making 4, maybe even a 3. Now, whether it's called a par 4 or a par 5 shouldn't really matter. But as we know, golf doesn't quite play those same logic with our minds. But yeah, if the golf hole's getting eaten up pretty regularly, well, you obviously want to take advantage of it when you can.
Here we are on the 11th green with Brad Kennedy and Marcus Fraser. Fraser fresh from success in Gippsland in the Super Sixes. And Brad Kennedy was always going to be a danger here. Another experienced player with solid form coming in. Start of the day at -5.
And we've also got junior Baxter Droop here as well.
Brother of Fraser, I believe, who's a pro himself, and also their father is a pro as well over at the Yarrawonga Golf Club.
It's on its way for birdie. Looks like he's misread that a little bit. Have a bit to tidy up for par there. But he's in a good position in the junior field at the moment. Top 8.
Back to 9, and Jeff Ogilvie from the sand.
Be interesting to see how far Jeff flies this ball, because he's got a lot of green to work with. Will he run it, or will he fly it most of the way?
Brendan?
He's got a perfect lie. He's back into the wind, so that may change his shot. And he didn't have any excuses. It was a perfect lie, back into the wind. So pretty regulation for a guy with his short game.
Yeah, I played with Jeff in a couple of President's Cups, and anytime I hit in the bunker, I wasn't even pulling my putter out, because usually he hit it pretty close and I didn't have to worry about knocking the next one in.
I've felt the full force of Jeff's short game of late with the preferred lies in bunkers. Stacey and I talked about the other day. Everyone's bunkers game's improved via COVID, and when you give Jeff Ogilvie a preferred lie in our weekend or week round, it's didn't end very well on most occasions.
It's definitely a shock to the system when you don't get to put it on a nice tee, isn't it, PJ?
Well, you brought that up the other day, Stace, in the Pro-Am. It's the first time you've had to play a proper bunker shot in a poor lie in a long time. So yeah. there's been some benefits to COVID golf, hasn't there, for a lot of the club golfers in particular?
There's a false sense of security amongst a lot of golfers out there, I reckon.
It's going to be a shock to the system. Here we've got Mikaloozi for eagle on the 9th.
Expect this to at least scare the hole, but it's got a bit of left to right. The green does sit back to front, so he's putting across that slope.
5 eagles on day 1 and just 1 on day 2 on this hole.
Oh, it did graze the hole. Still left himself something to think about though. He's probably got about 4.5 feet for birdie, and young Arbel's hit the best shot in here. It was never left the flag, or could see it from here at a slightly better angle than the guys in, but he's hit it under the hole to about 20 feet, so he's probably got the easiest putt out of everyone too. So Jeff just came by after he shot in and gave him the little thumbs up and said this kid's impressive. So pretty big raps from me. Obviously a major winner, but the kid in his first pro event, and he's, I said, mate, earlier, it's not only did he hit the fairway on the first shot, but it was hard into a left to right wind, and he stood up there and hit this right to left draw with driver and piped it straight down the middle. So he's been pretty impressive so far. Just going to miss left, unfortunately, but regulation birdie.
How's the interaction been out there, BJ, with obviously the juniors, professionals? How's it been?
Yeah, really good. Jeff, we just had a good long chat to him actually, just after he made mention of how impressive he had been, so and had a good chat to him. And I think early, Nick, you might be able to fill the guys in at home of how important this is, but they just reminded him of the old through line in pro events on the first hole when he picked his ball up out of the hole.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, the through line is an interesting concept. I mean, now that we can all pat down our spike marks and all that on the greens, but basically it's the line that is after the hole that may be on the line of someone else, basically. So when you pick your ball up out of the hole, you try not to step on your playing partner's line where they're going to putt. So every now and then you need a bit of a reminder of that one, but that's okay.
But as a junior, he probably doesn't get told that too much in his club comps, so we'll let him off, hey?
Exactly.
And generally, some of your playing partners are better at reminding you of those things than others, aren't they? So Ogilvie makes his first birdie of the day, goes to 9 under and a share of the lead. Nicoluzi also looking for birdie here, which he gets.
All fours in that group today. Mika will be happy to get another one back there. So birdie's on 8 and 9 to get him back to 500 total.
Double thumbs up.
A little probably relief for Mika there.
Ahead to the 11th now, and Brad Kennedy with a birdie putt. Start of the day at 5 under. And he makes another birdie.
No surprise there from Brad. He's one of the best putters around, and he's even got his own putting training aid called Project One Putt, I believe. And it's very much a special part of his game that he tries to help a lot of other golfers with.
We'll get back. We might find out more about that training aid as we go, Nick, because here's Terry Pokadaris also looking to improve his situation at 11 and get a little tour, but it's dropped for him.
Terry's been around for a number of years. Grew up in my hometown of Perth, Western Australia. Been a fine player up on the Asian Tour for many years. Good to see him back playing well there, living in Melbourne now.
Consecutive birdies.
Here we are with Baxter Droop, one of the juniors, and tidies up for a 3 there. Moving to T6 in the junior field.
So let's just update everyone on the leaderboard. It's now a 3-way tie for the lead, with Brad Kennedy, as we just saw, really starting to strike some form. He's through 11. He's 4 under for the day and joins Barbieri and Jeff Ogilvie, who's just had his first birdie for this 3rd round on 9 under. Elvis Smiley, the young amateur, he's on the rise, and 8 under for the day, 8 under for the tournament. And Matthew Miller, who also shot a fine 6 under round of 75, is also at 8 under, as is another experienced Victorian, David McKenzie.
Sue O up the top there. She's she had a fantastic round yesterday, so to put herself back into it, and she's 3 under through 14 today to move to T7. Marcus Fraser, obviously still in some great form after last week. Dowie Choi, young amateur, putting herself out there this week, which is great to see. What an experience for these amateurs, hey?
I think everyone's just happy to be out there on the course too, aren't they? Even the professionals who have played so much. James Markhasani, a local, he would have been a little disappointed, I think, with his first couple of rounds. He just made the cut, but he's made good today. A 6-under round using his local knowledge. Ben Eccles, another, who probably would have fancied himself to be a little higher on the leaderboard heading into the weekend, but he's had a good round. Michael Sim, 2 under for the day. Andrew Dote hasn't really been able to get going yet on day 3. And there's still time.
Very bunched leaderboard. There's 28 players within 4 shots of the lead. So setting up for a very nice Sunday at the moment, but we may see 1 or 2 players just edge out ahead as the day goes on.
Are you a leaderboard looker, Nick, when you're out there playing?
Yeah, on the weekends I am. The first 2 days, no. Just kind of do my thing. Unless I'm around the cut line, and then, you know, you might need to birdie the last or something like that to make the cut. But on the weekend, I like to kind of have a bit of a look on the back 9 on Saturday and then just keep an eye on things and see what I may need to do. So put the foot down, or if I've got an 8-shot lead, well, then I might just play a little more conservatively. But unfortunately, that never happened to me. So,
what about you, Stace?
I definitely wasn't, actually. Yeah, I didn't feel it helped me a lot at all. Just sort of got me away from the process. It might sound a little cliche, but
no, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting hearing Stephanie Bunke talk about it. We're going to have a look at her on 11 just now. She talked about first day. She did look at the leaderboard because they were using the apps, which we've all had to become accustomed to, and she felt that had distracted her a little bit through the first day. But yesterday she was able to. She didn't look at them at all and just concentrated on her own game. So.
And I think it's all new for Stephanie. You know, this is her first week as a professional golfer. We just see her shot into 11 there. It's come up a little bit short, but yeah, I just think she's doing a lot of media this week. She's done a lot of things for a couple of sponsors within the event, within herself. So I think it's all sort of new. It's a huge learning week for Steph, and putting us like the score she shot yesterday. I mean, it's fantastic to see her climb up the leaderboard and have to deal with those extras that come with professional golf, you'd say, Nick.
Certainly do. That's I think the biggest transition for some of the amateurs when they turn pro is all of a sudden it's got a bit of a different feel to it, a bit of a different look to it.
Yep.
And it's just coping with those daily processes that you have to go through that you kind of never thought of, I guess, as an amateur. Once it becomes your job, you're the CEO of your own little company there, and you have to manage everything around you the best way you possibly can to get the most out of your game. And that's why having a good team around you is very important. It depends on what style of personality you are there, I think, whether you're more self-reliant or you love having people around to really confide in. Having a mentor or multiple people in that sense is always very good, just so you can bounce ideas off. That's why Jeff Ogilvy's been doing such a great job with a couple of the different players. I mean, Nicoluzi and Stephanie, as you mentioned. So
just a great learning experience for her, really, in a nutshell.
It certainly is. Yep. We're back to the 11th hole, par 3, Jack Holland. Chipping back onto the green there. Oh, beautiful shot. Wow. Okay. And
doesn't get much better than that, hey?
It's very impressive. He sort of flirted with the hazard there by the looks. But, always look like a 2, walk to the next tee. That's golf, ladies and gentlemen.
You'd probably take a 2 there.
Especially at 11, which has been a difficult hole for birdies. Only 5 on day 1 and 8 on day 2, so he'll take that.
It was the number 1 hole, toughest hole in the scorecard yesterday, the 11th, playing back into a very, very strong breeze. Today's a little more benign, so scoring will be a bit better there today. Nice not to have to pull the putter out of the bag, I know that. Hopefully the caddy didn't have it out early.
All right, Brendan's ready for us on the 10th. BJ?
Thanks, guys. I'm with Dave Mikaloozi's ball. I have to be a little bit quiet because Dave's ball actually hit the big pine behind the cameraman here and ended up next to the 11th green where Steph Bunke's about to have an attempt at her birdie putt. But we're heading in this direction here where Dave's hit the tree. He's got 156 to the flag. Jeff Ogilvy's just missed the fairway left and he's actually on a downhill lie in the thick Kikuyu rough. And young R. Bells found the middle of the fairway, hit the best tee shot of the group.
Here we go. Stephanie for birdie on the 11th. She's left herself to about a 45-footer uphill, slightly left to right. she's gave it a good rap. She's still going to have something to think about on her second putt there, but definitely kept her interested.
Just wonder how the pros are going to cope with the juniors hitting the best shots off the tee regularly there, Nick.
No surprise, they're all flushes, these juniors. Although that's a long way left, to be honest. That 11th green it must have really ricocheted off a tree, because that's kind of right angles where you want to go. But it looks like he's got a perfect lie for his second shot, just a long way back. But he'll have to wait for these people to putt out, I'm assuming.
And Steph's just turned pro recently, Stacey.
Yeah, she has. Within just prior to 2 weeks ago, she just kind of decided that with travel restrictions and everything, she wasn't going to get as many opportunities as an amateur. Just jumped to Pokadaris here. Staying on the 11th. He's just missed that on the low side. He's going to be able to tidy up for his 3 though.
He hasn't made too much ground today. He'll be still at 6 under after starting the day at -5.
Yeah, so Steph was just sort of weighing up, you know, what to do with her amateur golf, and just felt that she could potentially get more opportunities as a professional this year, just with COVID, lack of travel, not being able to get over to the States and play some bigger amateur tournaments, and so I thought she'd take the plunge. And it's showing this week that, you know, she's handling it nicely. Maybe not as well today as she would have, but different pressures to deal with.
It's a lovely putt there. I'm just wondering how you go with her hair dangling in front of you over the putt there. That'd be a bit off-putting to me, but I mean, especially in windy conditions. What do you think?
Well, wait until we see a shot. Terry's just tidied up for par there. Wait until you see a shot of a full swing. It's a part of the routine, Nick. You just watch.
A little bit of a hair toss, actually. Oh, okay.
It is.
Look forward to seeing that.
So here's Mikaloozi on the 10th with his second, but kind of on the 11th at the same time. You know what I mean?
Interesting angle from out here. He's going to have to come in over. He's going to have the bridge right in his line there, and then bring it in over the greenside trap on the left, I'd say.
2 over for the day after rounds of 68 and 67.
Go hard.
He's asking it to go.
Not just go hard.
Yeah, that one could climb back up into the wind there. He's back into that sou'wester. That's the one thing about on days like today. You watch more of the experienced players, they tend to keep the ball down a little more, keep it out of the wind and control the spin a little bit better. But it's all a learning process, and that's where you learn the most about your game, is playing in tricky conditions as they have the last couple of days.
Jeff Ogilvie is down there, and so is Brendan.
Jeff will be first to play. He's found the rough here, just run through the fairway. He did inform me it's sitting up on the tee, so he's already, Bell's first to play. So he's got 98 metres, Bell, middle of the fairway. Shouldn't have too many problems. Back into the wind slightly off the left, so he's probably playing an extra club and a half. And a good looking shot. It's all over the flag if it's the right club. No. Straight through the wind. So Tag Heuer Connected Golf Watch is giving me 96 metres for Jeff. And as I was alluding to, he's giving himself an excuse. It's sitting up like on a tee in this rough here, slightly above his feet. But a pretty good lie, because it could have been buried at the bottom of this Kikuyu rough. Come out pretty good, just right of the flag, middle of the green, under the hole.
Nick, when the ball's above your feet like that, what's the main adjustments you look to make?
Ball above the feet for a right-hander, ball wants to go left. He had a couple of things going there where the wind was off the left and the ball wants to go left, so it was almost even itself out. But he played the smart play there, just aiming right with that pin on the front left there. We just can't go left or long, as we're going to find out with a Bell shortly. But that was experience 101 right there from Jeff. Just put it on the green. He wasn't in a great position. If he happens to hole in a long putt, great. Move to the next.
Yeah, we look at the differences there with how Jeff played that and Abel played that. It's like Jeff's played the experience shot out, leave himself a long birdie putt, and then Abel's going to, like, it'll be a great up and down, really. Yeah. Jeff might be just ducking off there.
Or just showing off that he can still still got some pace.
Yeah, I'm not sure the camera wants to follow him all the way there. Yeah. Not mic'd up, is he? I hope not.
Let's go back and see how Jack Holland is faring. His recovery shot with thanks to Powerade.
Looks like he's got it. Probably one of his gap wedges there. Put it back in the stance. Landed on a little bit of check. And just beautiful. Just snuck it in the right side.
Was never missing, Nick.
No, never.
Caddy popped the putter straight back in the bag. Used to be a pet hate of mine if someone had pulled the putter out before I was on the green.
Great Powerade recovery shot. Coca-Cola Amatil are the PGA's official hydration partner, and also provide all of the drinks on course for our players and commentators, keeping Brendan hydrated. Now let's head back to the 10th.
Nicoluzi.
Speaking of recovering.
He's going to be trying to get up and down here. He's had to play a flop shot. It's quite a, can't see it as much on TV here, but it's quite a false front there. He's going to have left himself a 10-footer or so for par. Doesn't look that impressed with it. A little unlucky with the kick to the right there. What's up? I'll left himself here, Nick.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options. He's going to be coming up a slope where you can either bump it into it and let it roll over the top and down to the hole, or fly it all the way and onto the green. Something tells me he'll fly it all the way. Just from the loft of the club he's got in his hand there. Depends a lot on the lie. If you've got a good lie, throwing it up there's no problem at all, because you can get some nice spin on the ball.
BJ?
Yeah, he does have a perfect lie, so I expect this to be in the air. Just probably find the green probably 1 or 2 metres on and let the ball just run out to the hole. He's flown it a bit further, but I made mention earlier about his short game. It seems to be a real standout. He's obviously not happy with that, but some of the couple of the up and downs he has made where he short side himself, he had a downhill slope in a bunker, put it to 4 feet. So pretty impressive. So Jeff will have a reasonable look at birdie under the hole. I'd suggest it's moving a bit of right to left from where he is. And Mikaloozi short-sided himself and had to, as we know, or the guys in the booth there, Stacey and Nick, it was a pretty tight lie, so had to play one of those tricky little shots that's high and soft over that bunker to get it within about 6 to 8 feet, I think it looks like.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had too much green to work with.
So you probably witnessed, Nick, these are the putts that Jeff kind of, through his heyday, was arguably one of the best in the world, wasn't he? From anywhere from 20 to 25 feet.
He certainly was. I was on the wrong end of a couple of these when he won them.
Not bitter about it at all, you know.
Haven't forgotten it really either. So, yeah, no, he held a couple of bombs on me in the match play one year. But anyway, he just needs one of those to drop at the moment, and you kind of feel that the floodgates will open and free it up a little bit more for him. But he's playing steady golf, still 1 under from the day and not holding much. That's always a good sign.
It's just going to be a great test of his patience out there, isn't it? He's 1 birdie, all pars.
I'm sure BJ can attest to Jeff's patience out on the golf course.
A strength, BJ? Or?
Well, I did say the other day during our round, your lawn, some of you may not know, I attempted to play in your lawn Super Sixes with Marcus and Jeff, and I did make mention that Jeff was the only player to throw a club during those 2 rounds, so not much has changed. I was just happy it wasn't me.
Oh, fantastic up and down from Abel to keep himself at 2 over par through 10 holes. and keep himself in the mix in the juniors.
No pretzels out on the course at all, BJ, for you to smack over?
No, not recently, no. It was a good format for Stace and I the other day, where it was a better ball, so we all hit off the tee, and I was blazing my drive everywhere, so I always had a bit of insurance up my sleeve. Stace didn't miss a fairway for the whole day, so I could carve it anywhere and be assured that I'll be hitting off the fairway.
Or we just walk down to Doty's.
Yeah.
Mikaloozi for par.
So good fall for him if he could make it.
There it is, both those guys, Bell and David, showing off their short game skills. As Jeff this is a regulation tap in. What about your mindset here, Nick and Stace, about Jeff's reeling off a number of pars, but is it more about the patience? Is he thinking about, I need to actually be a bit more aggressive and hit the ball closer because it's going to be hard to continually hold these 15 to 20 footers? Is he thinking about just trying to hit it closer, be a bit more aggressive?
Well, at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, my old coach used to say to me, if I'm not putting well, just hit it closer. So that's one way to look at it, as we see Matt Griffin here on 11. Just rolling that in for par. But to your point, yeah, patience is a big key in that scenario. I mean, Jeff's obviously hitting the ball well, giving himself lots of looks. It only takes one for it to open the floodgates, and the back nine is played much easier than the front, I believe, through the week. So there are opportunities there. Sorry, the other way around, I believe. Maybe the front nine's played easier than the back. But there are opportunities coming up on 15 and 16, the 2 par 5s, and there's a couple of other shortish sort of holes where you can maybe sneak one in.
Yeah, a little tougher around the turn, and some opportunities later in the round. Let's have a closer look at the 11th, as we mentioned earlier. It's all thanks to OFX Skycam.
Here we have the par 3 11th, playing 159 for the men and 140 for the women. It's a tough one with the breeze today. We've seen a couple of players go long, hit it through the wind, and the pin position today is 16 on and 5 from the right. So we haven't seen too many birdies there. It's a really tough pin position with the slope in front. I think it's one you kind of want to take your 3 and get out of there.
Dave Nicoluzi. It's going to be a little down off the right today. It's not playing anywhere near as tough as yesterday, but middle of the green is never a bad shot. Yeah, very, very good. It's kind of a tier, about 15 feet short of that flag that you need to clear, and he's done that lovely and has about the same length past it, left for birdie.
Straight over the top of the flag.
And on days like today, when it's a little windy, what you're really trying to look at players and how they handle it is distance control. Are they pin high most of the day? And when you see that happening a lot, you know they're in good touch. When they're long or short by quite a long way, that's when you know the game's a little bit out of sorts and they're not quite having control of the ball. This hole being a downwind hole, the fuller shot is required here.
What do we think Jeff would be hitting there, Nick? 159.
I'd say he's got 8 or 9 iron down. Oh, beautiful shot.
Speaking of distance control, Nick.
9 iron. Pin high all day, that's what you're after.
Pin high, you're never too far away.
And a chance to make his second birdie of the day.
What was that, BJ? Was that 9 on?
Yeah, 9 iron. Mika hit 8 iron. I'm not sure what young Abel's got, but you're right. It's probably playing more down. So Mika was calling for it to get down midway through its flight because it looked like it was just carrying on that wind a bit. So probably coming from the players 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. He's missing this just right. It's not quite coming on the breeze. Give himself another chance with his short game anyway. As we join Jeff, good time to grab you after reeling off 9 pars and a birdie. How do you see the game so far?
Yeah, I mean, I've been hitting it solid. Not close enough to the hole, I guess. I might have wasted all the putts on Thursday. They went from everywhere. So, yeah, it's good. I mean, I always got to be under par on a windy day, and there's plenty of chances coming in. So, if I can make a few coming in, it's all going all right.
I may mention the mindset now. Is it more about being a bit more aggressive and getting the ball close to the hole?
A little bit. I mean, whenever you start chasing it in golf, you usually start coming awry. So if I can just give myself 8 more chances coming in, I'm going to make a couple, you would think, maybe a few more, and hopefully go from there. Anytime you force it out here, you seem to struggle. So just keep doing the same thing and hope they go in.
Well, keep going well.
Cheers, mate.
Over to you guys.
Jeff Ogilvie with Brendan Goddard on course as he strides up the 11th fairway. 3rd round of the Players Series. Victoria, live from Rosebud Country Club. If you have just joined us, $150,000 prize pool. A hidden gem, as they call the Rosebud Country Club. We started with 144 players, 62 elite males and females, 10 pro invites and 10 elite amateur invites, joined by the juniors here on the weekend, who are getting a great experience to play alongside the lights of our tournament host, Jeff Ogilvie.
What an experience,
Yeah.
for these juniors. I know we keep saying it, but it's just priceless, isn't it?
One of our leaders, Brad Kennedy. He's on 13. Started the day at 5 under. He's gone to 10 under, in fact.
Outright leader at the moment. He's looking to get this up and down and keep himself right up there.
Oh, almost extended that lead.
Left himself maybe a 3-footer for par.
Now back on 11.
Let's see what a Bell can do with this this short game, BJ.
He looks to be going the aerial route. It's one of those ones where you get multiple options. He could putt it if he likes, which you guys might be able to highlight. It's probably a more percentage play, but he's pretty confident in his short game, so it looks like he's got a bit of loft to the club, so perfect lie. He's probably got about 15 feet from green edge to flag, so he's got a bit of room to play with. It is downwind, slightly uphill. Perfect shot. Perfect.
Sounded like perfect contact on that.
Good club choice, BJ.
Perfect contact. Great club choice, yeah.
You wouldn't have putted it, would you, BJ?
You saw some of my attempts to hit a short shot the other day. I may have found the hosel on one of them.
It was dangerous
so
at
I may
times.
have went with putter.
Same.
And Mick has got about... He's got about 18 feet here for birdie, so tricky of the two, as you made mention. Nick about ball control. Jeff has been hitting the ball, or as we like to say in a casual rounds, pin high Steve, after Tiger's reference to Steve Williams. When he's playing well, he's always hitting it pin high, but Jeff's done that all day, so he's got a really good look at birdie from probably about 7 or 8 feet. So Dave Mikaloozi to go first, and again, great putter, so I expect this to be scaring the hole. Quite a tricky little green here. It's got a spine that kind of runs from front right to back left, so they're on the flatter part, thankfully. Pin tucked kind of middle right. Bit of right to left in this. Pure roll, but speed was a little bit off, so he liked it off the face and still left himself about 5 feet for par coming back.
Looked like it was on a pretty good line there. It was probably just the pace that got him. Sort of hit it through it there. Let's see if Jeff can get another one.
And outside of his birdie on 9, which was a tap in for birdie on the par 5, this is his best chance for birdie. So if he wasn't to make this is the one where he might get a little bit headless, being his best opportunity today.
Let's hope that can potentially open the floodgates for our tournament host. 2 under for the day and 10 under and into a tie for the lead.
Does have some favourable holes too, 12 playing down off the right here, and then he's got the par 3, which is probably a little bit tricky, and then you've got the back-to-back You got another short par 4, in 14, and then the back-to-back par 5. So this is a stretch of holes where all golfers, and in particular Jeff, will be looking to get another couple of birdies to stretch his lead.
Let's see if Mikaloozi can make his comeback putt here for par. Snuck it in on the right side there.
Went in with pace too, which is very impressive. I played with David a few weeks ago out at the Cathedral Lodge Golf Club, and one thing that was impressive with him was that he's a very aggressive player. He doesn't leave anything much in the bag there, so that can mean some low scores, but also can go the other way as well, as Brad Kennedy taps in for par, equal leader.
Yeah, no problem for him there at 13. He is the equal leader, as we said, with Jeff Ogilvie. Suo has made the big jump up. She's now in a tie for third, joined by Bryden McPherson. So both 5 under for the day through 16. Just a couple of holes remaining in their third round. Nathan Barbieri also at -9 through 11. But it's Kennedy and Ogilvie who they're chasing.
Fine round from Matty Millar there as well, back in the hunt again. One of the most consistent players on tour here in Australia. David McKenzie, who's almost made like a second career on the Champions Tour in the US. Another fine round. Kirsten Rodsley, my fellow Mount Lawley Golf Club member, you beauty.
Got a soft spot there, Nick?
I do, yes. Her and Hannah Green, Mount Lawley members, fantastic.
Great to see Ben Eccles in some form. Hasn't been able to play much golf over the last 12 months. Well, nor has anybody based in Victoria, but Benny hasn't had much status, so it's great to see him putting himself in the mix there. There's Mikaloozi, who we've seen a bit of today. He'll be looking to, like BJ was saying, hang on to, for those par 5s, potentially birdie eagles coming in to get himself back in the mix. Lucas Michel, who was able to play the Masters this year. Good to see him there playing some competitive golf back home after his quarantine period.
Do you know if he got back into the next Masters as well? Because there was no, mid-am in the COVID.
Here's the junior leaderboard, meantime.
Some fine scores there, 3 under leading the way as we look down the board there. Future stars in the making. It's an amazing experience for these players.
All right, more golf coming up in a moment, but as we head to the break, just this week, Adidas, the PGA of Australia and WPGA Tour announced a joint partnership, and that sees Adidas become the official brand of both organisations. Now, it's the first time the WPGA and PGA have joined together on a partnership such as this, and it shows the unity in Australian golf at the moment, which is fantastic to see. Through this partnership, Adidas is connecting with more golfers than ever before in a fun and progressive way. And earlier this week, that fun was had with the comedian Elliot Loney and some Adidas golfers here at the Rosebud Country Cup. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Bear Grylls. I've been to some of the most desolate terrains golf has ever seen. From 10-foot bunkers to chipping out from residential neighbourhoods, I've seen it all. Only about 12,000 years ago, the human species were foraging the ground for food like berries and mushrooms. But since the introduction of food delivery services, we've lost our ability to find things in the shrubs, as you can see here. Although this golfer has versatile Adidas footwear on, his ability to find his ball is like putting pigeon wings on a buffalo. Completely useless. When finding someone's ball, you have 2 options. One is yelling out to them, which I recommend, and option 2, if you're on the back 9, they're 4 shots up on you, you can always just stand on their ball, making sure it goes half an inch into the rough, making their next shot close to impossible. Have you found it?
No, not yet.
Are you number 4?
Yeah, that's it.
Found your ball. See you next time.
He stole my ball, didn't he?
Join me next time as I teach you how to escape a bunker.
Today's exercise is about creating the ultimate Australian golfer, and I'm joined by Steph Bunke and, as I mentioned, Jeff Ogilvie. First challenge, first category, Jeff, is driving. Who are you going to choose?
Well, I think ultimately the best driver ever is Greg Norman for us by a long way. The way he did it with his persimmon was nuts, and everyone talks about it.
Steph, over to you.
It's too early to say me.
Is it? Is it though? Is it?
No, I just...
okay, you can't back down from that. It's Steph's chosen herself for driving.
It's me, yeah, no, I just
Ultimate
back
Australian
myself
golfer,
in. Yeah, that's me.
Category 2 is iron play. Jeff.
I'll put Adam in there because I've got to give it in there somewhere. He's Australia's best ball striker probably the last 20 years, so honourable mention to a lot of other guys, but Scotty.
I'd have to say Minjee Lee for that one. She's an absolute laser with the iron, so yeah, hardly misses a thing.
Good choice, good choice. Third one, short game.
Short game, Brett Rumford has probably got the best short game in the world, I would have thought. No one's practiced more than Brett Rumford anywhere, I don't think, for the last 30 years. But I have to give it to Jason Day probably ultimately because he's done it in majors and he had some miraculous up and downs at the highest level repeatedly.
So J-Day. Steph?
I reckon I'd probably have to say Hannah Green for that one. Yeah, she's pretty tidy around the greens. I have seen her hit some pretty good ones and major winner as well, yeah, under the pump. So.
Fourthly, probably the most important out of them all, putting.
There's only one for me in this one, it's Ian Baker Finch. He putted well his whole life. He had like 30 putts on the weekend or something and when he won the British Open at Birkdale, so he's the only one for me.
Steph?
I would have to go with maybe Suo for this one. Yeah, I mean, you have to be pretty half decent at putting to be on the LPGA and to be in contention a lot of the time, so probably Suo for that one.
Good choice. And lastly, temperament or mentality.
Got to be Peter Thompson. He's got to be in there somewhere. He's won 5 majors. He probably wins every category if you compare eras to eras, but temperament, no one's ever played golf with the wisdom that he has, so Peter Thompson.
Steph?
Be rude not to throw Kari in there somewhere, I'd say. Fiery, full of passion, and won more majors than any other Australian. Yeah, so yeah, definitely Kari for that one.
And there you have it, guys, Australia's ultimate golfer, both male and female. Thanks for joining us, guys. Good luck this week.
Some great questions posed. Some very interesting categories. Might get some of your thoughts on that, Nick Ahern and Stacey Peters shortly, but let's head back out on course.
So Dave Nicoluzi, we actually didn't see his ball off the tee, so he did hit a provisional. And truth be told, myself and Jeff Ogilvie's manager was walking across the middle of the fairway when he reloaded, so I'm glad we found his first one. He's in a waste bunker about 40 yards left of the fairway, so I got reasonably lucky here because there is a fair bit of thick shrub up here. We're worried about we're going to trot on a snake, but he does have the tree to contend with, and he's got 103 to the flag, but perfect lie in the waste bunker. I think he's going low by the looks of it. Only head did, and he clipped the top of the bunker, and it's ended up just in the gum tree just about 40 metres in front of him, so not a great result. Tried to play the harder shot out of the two. He could have hit it right, front edge of the green, went more direct route trying to get to the flag. Jeff's got 101 to the flag. He's got a Kikuyu lie, so can be quite difficult at times, but he's got a really good angle into this front pin, which is on 11 and it's 7 from the right. It's going to bounce short and hopefully release on him. He's not going to be overly happy with that. And again, the two pros have been outshone by the young junior, Arbel. Perfect tee shot, left side of the fairway. 92 to the flag. Good opportunity here to get one back for the young fella.
Looks like he's handling it out there so well. So confident. I might have jinxed him, haven't I?
Might have.
Pretty good looking shot, just long. Yeah, it looked like I was going long from here, but give himself a good chance. There is, must be nervous. There is a number of people, I'd say 60 to 80 people following this group now. And as you know, in this format, they can get right up close to him and right behind him on his tee shots. Trying to get as close as possible to a major winner, most of these people, but it would be quite intimidating for him. I don't think he would have this many people following around in any round of golf before.
It's a big part of the learning curve, isn't it, for him, Nick?
It is. I would have thought someone might have offered to pull his bag for him too. So. No, he's probably quite happy.
Not yet.
Quite happy doing his own thing, but as I say, yeah, he'll learn so much from today. He's putting on a clinic from the tee, but the iron shots so far that we've seen haven't quite matched up. But,
back to Bear Grylls country.
It is. It's not great for David here. Tough lie, bit of hit and hope. We just saw Kane squirt it out right. Again, the only time he's really looked in trouble is off the tee, so he did make mention when we walked past him before. I said, how are you? And he said, I'm just trying to find a fairway at the minute, so just the driver letting him down at the moment.
What's the hardest thing, how off the tee, trying to adjust if you're just not hitting fairways?
I think when if you do have a one-way miss, then maybe it's manageable.
You can self-assess.
Exactly, and really kind of maybe figure out what's going on. But if you get the two-way miss, you really start second-guessing, and that's when the trouble can really happen.
Yeah, I like to have what I call a fairway finder in the bag. That's kind of, it's not a last resort, but it's something that you want to go to when you're really struggling. For most golfers, I find as a right-hander, it'd be a little low left to right cut. Just kind of chase it down there. It's quite an easier shot to hit. I think when things aren't going well, and funnily enough, this golf course sets up really well for that shape. There's only 2 holes that dogleg from right to left. The rest are either straight or from left to right. So on a hole like this, for instance, the 12th, which is a dogleg to the right, that left to right shape's going to suit well. So if you don't have it in the bag, well, that's another issue. But generally, when you're not hitting the ball well off the tee, you're just trying to find a club that you like and hitting a little lower and just trying to keep the ball in play and then rely on the rest of your game to make a score. So David can be a bit hot and cold, as we know how aggressive he is. So one swing turns it around, but a nice up and down here will make him, it's a bogey, but some bogeys are better than others. Sounded a little thin, that one, as we can see. Yeah, this hasn't been his best hole so far, but it's all a learning experience, as they say. It's very hard to think of it that way when you're going through it, though. I mean, he had a stellar amateur career, and since turning pro, things haven't quite fallen into place for him, but he's got the talent, and it's just a matter of being patient, going through the processes and learning as you go along, and resilience can only be learned, basically.
What are the major lessons from being that talented junior coming through, where maybe things have gone pretty well for you, to suddenly you're out on the circuit and you have those down days? And I imagine there's technical elements, but there's just also the mental side of things as well.
And I think as well, you go from being the big fish in probably a little pond to the absolute opposite. To you have to be on your game all the time, otherwise you're not gonna cut it. And so I think that's where I think Mika was kind of lucky in his amateur career, being able to play some decent professional events and get that experience. So I think that's where you've really got to make the most of those opportunities and take what you can from those. The junior Abel putting for birdie. Just come up a little shy there.
And to your point, Stacey, I think the difference between the good players and the greats, or the good players and the better players, so to speak, and what you do learn is that week in, week out, you very rarely have your A game. So on your bad days, or when you're not hitting the ball well, you have to figure out ways to shoot a score and not rack up those bogeys and doubles that just seem to snowball on you.
And I think this hole probably an example with what Mika's done. He might look back at this tonight and think, okay, I should have punched out from that wasteland.
Exactly, yeah. It must be a slow putt coming up the hill there. Jeff looking up to those noisy birds going, was it you or was it me?
Jeff didn't learn a whole lot from Abel, did he?
We have Mikaloozi putting for bogey on the 12th. About 25, 30 feet, I'd say. A little left to right putt.
So she's trying to hold it together here, mid-round.
Jeff Ogilvie back up the hill, 6 feet. This is one, if you miss it, it's a bit of a momentum killer. If you make it, it's like, yep, fantastic, let's keep it rolling.
The first blemish on his card today.
Yeah, I'd be very disappointed. That's what we call a soft bogey. Only had sand iron in and walking off with a 5. That's maybe a couple little words muttered under the breath as we walk to the next tee, Jeffrey.
A bell on a similar line to Jeff. Par.
So he's playing some good golf, the young man. While even others around are just struggling a little, more experienced. He shakes his head, but as we mentioned, fantastic lessons to be learned. Nicoluzi he's learning the hard way. This is for double at 12. It's a tough little portion of the course.
In for double there. It's going to be very disappointing after having those couple of birdies to kind of get himself back in things a little.
Start of the day at 7 under. So someone who has handled things beautifully today is Sue O, one of the favourites coming in of the ladies, and she's shot a 67 today to be 8 under. Sue, thanks for joining us. Well played today. What was it like out there?
Thank you. Yeah, it got a little bit windy at the end, but I hit the ball quite well. Just didn't hole as many putts as I wanted, but still happy to shoot 67 and somewhat, not too far behind the lead.
Yeah, it must feel good, Sue, putting yourself in the mix there for tomorrow, hey?
Yeah, for sure, especially after first day. I was, I'm happy to be where I am right now and hopefully a really low one tomorrow.
Yeah, you've obviously put yourself right back in the mix there. What do you think the keys will be going into tomorrow, Sue?
I actually haven't checked the forecast, but if it's windy, then I obviously, I tend to get a bit ahead of the ball so I don't hit the ball very well when it's windy. But just kind of keep that in mind and, 2-putt pars and hopefully a couple of birdies here and there would be good, I think.
How have you found the course for your game? You mentioned your first round wasn't ideal, but obviously the last couple of days have been much better.
Yeah, I mean, the greens, I think when I played the first couple of practice rounds, I just told myself I don't want to be, the greens are like really slopey, so some pin positions you actually don't want to be pin high because you have this like massive breaking putts. So putting the ball, giving yourself an uphill straight putt, I think is pretty important here.
And how have you found the format, playing with the men for the same prize pool?
Oh yeah, it's been great actually. I really enjoyed my first couple of days with Elvis and Jeff. Obviously Jeff was just a flusher, and Elvis too, he played really well. I think he was almost 9 under today, or finished 8 under I think. So he clearly is a really good player. And I played with a junior today, Levi. He was really impressive actually. He's got a bit of a Tommy Fleetwood vibe to him, so it was good.
And overall, with the juniors joining as well, Sue, what do you think of the concept? Do you think we can have a lot of this going forward?
Oh, I really hope so. Yeah, I mean, I really like the format. They're just as good as us. I mean, I think Levi shot even today with a couple of 3-putts here and there. So they're really good players, and I think it's a great opportunity for them. And yeah, I would love to play more of these.
Well played today, Sue. Great to have a player of your quality playing in this tournament, and good luck tomorrow.
Great, thanks guys.
All right, bit of the Tommy Fleetwood vibe. I hope not the angry golfers that they if you haven't seen that out on the socials from the European Tour, it's worth looking at. Speaking of angry golfers, let's get to the 13th and Brendan Goddard.
Well, young Bell's just pushed his ball way right, but yardage on the Tag Heuer connected golf watch is 159 to the flag. Wind, they're all pretty confused. I think it's coming directly off the left, so Bell's ball looked like it rode the wind and actually carried it further right than he thought. So Jeff's got a little bit of indecision here. I think he's got 7 on his hand. He's hit a nice draw back into that wind. It's not really touching it whatsoever, but just found the putting surface just over that trap. So he just called for the wind. When the ball was in the air, he said, "Where is it?" So as I thought, it's a little bit confusing down here, swirling on the tee. And as we look at the flag's not moving. So it feels like it's probably a 2-club win when we're standing on the tee here.
Coming off a double bogey, never easy to get the mindset right, is it?
I think he's going to be questioning a few decisions he's made there on the previous hole, and obviously not feeling super comfortable with his swing, so he could have an extra swing thought or two. Which never works too well in golf.
He's hit a really good strike, and it's a great looking shot just left of the flag, so hopefully it's the right club.
Great looking shot there.
Looks to be just long. Got best out of the group.
All right, so the players make their way towards the 13th green. Smile for David, which is good. Jeff Ogilvie, who we've just seen tee off, tells us all how we should play the 13th hole at Rosebud.
All right, 13 here at Rosebud, par 3, really pretty hole. It strikes you if you haven't been at Rosebud for a while that how nice a place it is. I think it's underappreciated, and I think everyone who comes in the gate's blown away by how pretty the place is, and this is another example. 180 so yards. It's probably about a sort of a 6-7 iron for most of the fields, probably a 7 iron for me today, wind off the left. And a relatively easy pin today right in the middle of the green. But there's some really nasty pins. If you go back left, you're going to have to carry it all the way over the bunker. It's 20 past the front to carry over the left. So it's going to be sort of 6 iron to a really tight pin up the left if you want to hit it close on Sunday or Saturday. So middle of the green today though, so they've looked after us. So probably a 7 iron, we'll see how we go. Wind off the left is never my favourite. I'd prefer it off the right. I had a preference, but you're going to work with what you're given. A little bit left, but we're putting. All right, here we are, 13. We are pin high, 25 feet or so. Not the best shot, but as I said, putt on the tee, putting is always good. Sort of a downhill putt it looks here. The pin's kind of in the low spot. So you're always kind of looking for where the high and where the low is, I think, when I read greens. You do a lot of green readings subconsciously. You feel it in your feet naturally. It's higher at the back, it's lower at the front. So generally this ball's gonna go towards the front of the green on a hole like this. So you've got most of the read done before you even get behind the ball, I think, if your awareness is sound. And then you just kind of, I'm just fine tuning when I get down here. This is probably gonna break a couple of feet, 2 feet maybe. And I'm not hyper precise about spots I putt over or something. I'm more like to kind of get the general thing and sort of let myself make micro adjustments, if that makes sense, because I let the instinct kind of take over, especially on a putt that breaks a lot like this. Oh, a massive misread. Pretty straight in the end, really. Tap it in, easy par though.
All right, that's how you do it. Great to have the insights of some of the credentials of Jeff Ogilvie. We've talked already about he's the host. He's putting so much back into golf here, Nick, isn't he? In his home country now that he's back in Melbourne. And I think it's just appreciated by everyone in the game.
It is, yeah. He started the Jeff Ogilvie Junior Foundation, so putting a lot back into the junior golf here locally and around the country, and it's what we all try and aspire to do, just give back to the game that's given us so much as a Bell. Right, hits another lovely
What a
hit
shot.
Yeah, he's really showing off those short game skills. I love his technique, how his hands and his arms and his trunk of the body just move together beautifully through the ball. That's anyone out there watching. When they separate, your arms and your body don't move together, that's when you have issues with chipping. So when they work together, you can have a nice, lovely rhythm and tempo, and that's the key.
Sounds easy.
It is.
Barbieri with his second into 14. And nothing wrong with that either. So leader on day one, struggled on day two, right in the mix. Back to Brendan.
Yeah, Jeff's left himself for the 20-25 footer. Just didn't break. He was expecting it to fall a little bit to his right, so looks a little bit perplexed, and he's left himself with about 3 feet. But I don't think the camera did justice to Bell's shot. And then he was on a downhill lie too, and he had to land. I think he probably had a landing error of about a couple of feet just to get that to where it is pin high. Just released right on him once it hit the green, but that was an outstanding display of his short game again. Mikaloozi's here above the hole, so everything's going kind of back to front, left to right on this green. So expecting this to be a little bit slick and probably falling to his left. He's got about 18 feet. Oh, it didn't move left on him.
Oh, he rode that one, PJ. He did it hard, didn't he?
He was staring that down the whole way, so would have been a good bounce back birdie after a disastrous hole. You made mention, Stace, of the two-way miss. I'm glad you did that, because it's been pretty evident with Mika that, especially his first 2 holes where he missed one probably 60 metres right and then missed his next 60 metres left, so it's pretty difficult to play like that and not have any confidence off the tee. So he found himself in a bit of strife off the tee today, but everything else has been okay.
I think that's really where you start, second guessing things, and like you said, if it happens the first couple of holes, it's going to be a fight. What an up and down this would be,
left
hey?
himself, yeah, it would be outstanding. So left himself probably 6 to 7 feet. Should have got somewhat of a read off Jeff, so it stayed a bit straighter. Outstanding. It's incredible, some of his up and downs today. That was world class, just quietly.
Jeff might be asking him for a few pointers later.
I'll mention to Jeff you said that.
Oh, maybe not.
Pretty regulation here, 3 feet.
Oh. Oh.
Not sure what to say. I'm glad we got him on the par 3 a couple of holes ago, that's for sure.
Yes. Awkward silence.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a little bit speechless actually there. There's a perfect example. He's been patient. He has a couple of birdies. We're like, all right, hang on till the par 5s, can have a good round, and then does that. That's going to be hard to come back from.
Ahead to 14, and Matt Griffin. He's also found the going tough today.
Oh. That's not your day, isn't it? You hit the almost perfect shot, hits the middle of the pin, and rebounds back. And Matt shows his frustrations there.
I think that club is back in the bag. That was a few moments ago, and now up on the green at 14. I mentioned he started the day at 6 under. He was leader late yesterday. Didn't quite finish off the way he would have liked. He'd love a birdie, particularly after what we just saw. It's not to be.
Yeah, that's where you hope a bit of karma kicks in there, don't you? hitting the flag like that. At least it didn't go all the way off the front of the green, which it could have. So
frustrating day for Matt. He's one I really thought would have made a move today. Very consistent golfer, even though it hasn't been able to compete a lot with him playing on the Japanese tour.
He's got his wife Liz on the bag too.
Yeah, good to see. We know that's a tough gig, isn't it, Nick?
yeah, just ask my wife. Yeah.
Here we've got Piper Stubbs, the young amateur from Royal Melbourne. At even par. She's having a solid day.
You're the same too, Stacey. You had your husband on the bag for a number of years there, and you're still together. So congratulations.
Yeah, well, she didn't mention that, did she? Straight away.
Yeah, a good test of the relationship at times, isn't it, Nick?
Certainly is. So we watch David Gleason for birdie on 18. He can really light it up, David can. Just like that. Right on cue there, David. Quite a musician too, I believe. I think he plays a mean piano and sings a little, I believe. So great way to finish the day. That'll taste that. That'll help that drink taste a little better in the clubhouse.
So here's Barbieri at 14 for the outright lead. So he set the pace on day one, and he's doing the same now as we get closer towards the end on day 3. Some good red numbers there on the scorecard. He's at 11 under and 1 clear of Brad Kennedy, and with Jeff Ogilvie slipping down, a real opportunity for the New South Welshman.
Griffin to clean up for his 4 there. A little frustrating after moments of looking like a 2. He's showing his frustration a little there.
Isn't he? Bit of club twirling.
Liz might want to let him just walk ahead a little bit, I think, there.
Let's have a look at the leaderboard.
And a bit of separation now, with Nathan enjoying a 1-shot lead over Brad Kennedy. Elvis Smiley, one of the rounds of the day, an 8 under, 63. 5 players at -8, including Marcus Fraser, who's just gradually moving up the leaderboard, 3 under through 14. And we're back with more live golf in just a moment from the Rosebud Country Club. It's the Players Series from Rosebud Country Club on the Mornington Peninsula. Players Series Victoria, and we're on the 14th. This young man has, well, he's facing some trials and tribulations in round 3 as we head out to Brendan Goddard to tell us more.
And yeah, as we made mention a couple of holes ago, that he's hit this way left off the tee, hit a tree, found himself 157 from the flag, wind hard off the right. So he's got a bit of a dodgy lie. He's actually replaced a branch that the ball came down on and fell on, and the ball's replaced its indentation on the ground. So it's come out really nice, though. It's just falling left of the flag if it gets up.
Oh.
That is, yeah, crack up.
What a shot.
It was pretty straightforward. He didn't have too much in front of him, but it was a dodgy lie. But Bell's found himself in the left trees as well. He's got a gap that he can go around. It's a matter of height. I think he's got to come out low, which will bring that front bunker into play. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of shot he plays and where he wants to leave himself. A wise young man, just leave himself with a little pitch, and Jeff here took driver, a bit of anger, I think, and frustration out on that, and he's left himself only a short pitch here, so looking to put this within 6 feet to get back one of those shots that he just lost on the last with a 4-putt.
We're still in a bit of shock, aren't we, I think? All of us, I'm sure he
Everyone
is.
Here.
You didn't say anything to him, Brendan, I suspect, after that?
No, I'd be a brave man if I did. So I just chatted to his manager then and said I'll probably have to bring that up to him in a post-match, post-round interview. We'll just address the elephant in the room, I think, straight up, shall we?
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it's always good. How did you handle those conversations, Stacey and Nick? A reporter like myself or an on-course commentator bringing up probably the worst hole or worst kind of putting display he's put on one hole in a long time?
Just go the cliche, you know, these things happen. We need to take the positives.
Oh, yeah. Along with the death stare?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask me those questions ever again.
I'm sure you did the same after a footy match, mate.
No, never. Never.
He was always delightful to deal with in the media, Brendan.
Oh, thanks, Hello. Umpires would say different. But again, just got to get up a bit because it's going to spin. But giving himself a chance there is probably about 12 to 15 feet for par. So.
But the way he's going with his par putts.
Yeah, that's right. I felt like he could have actually got that probably in that front right trap. Was probably the best player. That's the shot I saw, but it would have brought in this kind of awkward left green side or two green side traps on the left into play. So he's got to go too. It's not going to release on him. So I'm not going to be really happy with that, Jeff. So looking to get one back here, and as we move into 15, 16, there's 2 par 5s that we highlighted earlier. A real opportunity for these guys to pick up a few shots that were lost over the last 4 or 5 holes.
There's bogey, double bogey. For Jeff to slip back to 7 under.
That was a big drive by Jeff there too, because that's about 340 metre hole. He only had 30 or 40 metres left, so a bit of anger with that tee shot, I'd say. Roll that one in, and 2 par 5s to come, and you never know what can happen. It's good to see the flags out again. It's been a while, hasn't it? You know, with all the COVID and everything going on, especially locally here.
That's another thing you sort of takes a bit of adjustment to coming back to, doesn't it?
It does. I've quite enjoyed having the flag in. Actually, you don't have to think and worrying about playing partners, and pace of play is good. I love in these preferred lies and bunkers, although...
Do you think any of the changes that were made will stay or potentially stay?
I think in amateur golf, yeah, I can definitely see it happening. Professional golf, no, they like to stick to their old, you know, sort of rules that the RNA and all those USGA kind of make, but... I'm all for it. Flag in permanent. Well, we've had flag in permanently. I mean, I know in pro golf now we've still got the flag in if you want, but I think, what have they got? Some of the amateur events now, you can drop a ball, not have to re-tee and things like that in local comps. Quite enjoy that.
Anything that speeds up play.
Speeds up play, exactly. No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Bell looking to save par again and stay at 2 over. Just on the low side, there's quite a bit of break in that. I think at club golf level now, everybody's just got so comfortable with the flag in. You know, I think we went through that period of change where some people would have it in, some would have it out, and I think actually that slows it up actually. So now everybody's just become so used to it, and it's the norm. So I think that side of it, I think that will just stay.
Yeah, and I've never had one where the ball's gone, hit the flag and come out, and I thought, oh, if the flag wasn't in, I reckon that might have stayed in. I've never actually had that happen. So, you know, you can ask otherwise, as we watch Jeff about 12 feet up the hill. This will make that last hole taste a bit better if it goes in. You can almost see the steam coming out of the ears there, can't you? Just be careful on this one. There it is.
It's funny how they might require a little extra attention after what he did on the last hole.
As we said, there's some opportunities with a couple of par 5s ahead of him for Jeff to make some of that ground up on Brad Kennedy, who's going through those holes now and really increasing his advantage.
What a 3 this would be. BJ said it was pretty easy shot from that left side of the fairway. Looked pretty impressive here. Oh, he's just left that short.
Easy for BJ because he's in the trees a lot, so he can hit those shots quite easily. So.
I like it. Got quiet there, Brendan.
We've got to make it interesting, mate. It gets boring just hitting fairways and greens, doesn't it, Nick?
Not really, mate. No, I'm quite happy doing that all day long.
Val, unfortunately,
it was more. Yeah, it was more about the lie, I think, with him. And just the wind hard off the right. So it is. You probably hear the wind in the mic. So those putts are actually tougher than what they, I think, suggest because of the wind. So Jeff's had a little bit of wind assistance because it feels like we're on the most exposed part of the ground here. There's not much shelter where the wind's coming from straight off the right of that green. There's no trees or anything protecting this area. So, and just to set up the next tee shot as we wait here, there's a bit of a hold up on this hole with the group in front of the last group actually just teeing off now.
Yes, and Brad Kennedy, as we mentioned, has taken advantage of that. He's now 8 under for the day.
He has had an eagle on
15. I'll see him shortly at 16, but he's well and truly setting the pace, the Queenslander. He's moved to 13 under, 2 clear of Nathan Barbieri, who's on 15 as we speak.
Actually, Hutto, I think Kennedy had a albatross on the 15th. I'm just looking at the score. He's made a 2 on the par 5. So the elusive double eagle.
That's what we're
shot
seeing
up
here.
the leaderboard. Yes, fantastic stuff.
I have played in a couple of friendly golf trips using the apps where albatrosses have been put in and then had to be re-entered as the real score has gone in. Sends shockwaves around the course when that happens.
Let's hope that's not the case for Kennedy here. As we have a look through the leaderboard here. Benny Eccles, 6 under for the day. Ryan McCarthy's putting himself back there with a 4 under par to take him 5 under total. Young amateur Andre Lorte, great to see him in some form with 4 under today in some tough conditions.
Yeah, those out early probably got the best of it, as Brendan said. It's starting to blow up now, making life a little more difficult for those still out on the course, such is often the case. It'll be interesting to see what sort of number Brad Kennedy can come up with heading into the last round tomorrow, if indeed he is the overnight leader.
Steph Bunky having a tough day out there today, 3 over through 14. If she could get a couple of these par 5s coming in and give herself a chance.
All these golfers down the bottom, there's still a lot to play for tomorrow. Shoot a really low number and a low number and get your nice little paycheck. Sure, you're out of probably winning the golf tournament, but gives you some good vibes going into the following week, so you're never out of it.
And they know they're going to be out there early, probably before the wind, and you know, post a number.
Exactly. Sometimes it just takes that one swing, one round where you go, oh, there it is. I found that feeling again, and that carries over onto the next week, and you have a great week. So still plenty to play for.
Absolutely. Fantastic week it's been. So good to see the men, the women, the amateurs, the juniors.
Speaking of which, My Golf, Stacey, you know all about this, Australia's national junior golf program to promote participation in golf, endorsed by Golf Australia and the PGA of Australia, implemented by PGA professionals and community instructors at facilities right across the land. The program has been designed to ensure children have a fun and safe introduction to golf.
Yeah, it's so good to see, you know, age between 5 and 12. I see it at my home club all the time. It's awesome just to get them into golf. Just an introduction into the game that hopefully they go on and love like many of us do.
And we've seen with other sports how critical it is having a junior program. The kids can just enjoy and make the game accessible, isn't it? Instead of having to play whatever sport, I think particularly golf, at that same level as what you do as an adult. So it's fantastic. Speaking of which, let's check in with that junior leaderboard. Aaron Sharma finishing with a round of 68 at -3. Jack Holland on the way to doing similar.
And I think it's fantastic that the My Golf kids have been down there this week to even, you know, to see these junior players get this opportunity, and then to see, you know, some of their idols as well. Like, what a great pathway they can see here.
tell you what, when you see some of the kids in their swings, it makes you sick.
It's
impressive.
It's a little depressing,
It
to be
is.
honest. Yeah, you're like watching mini tour pros out there sometimes, but it's great they're out there because it's a game for a lifetime, and you know, there's so many opportunities out there for people to play with. You know, an 8-year-old can play with an 80-year-old and have a competition. I mean, golf is one of the few sports where the pros and amateurs and handicaps basically just lets it all even itself out, and I love playing with a variety of people on high handicaps. As we look at the 16th hole, the par 5, today we'll be playing back into a slight breeze off the left. These bunkers on the left-hand side. Probably today you won't be able to fly them, so players will be hitting to the base of the hill. There's a little hill just to the right there. Fairly wide open fairway, but hitting the fairway is key. Anywhere to the right and get blocked out by those pine trees. The left-hand bunkers, if you do happen to go in them, you're just laying it up. And then it's over the top of the hill. Some bunkers about 30 to 40 metres short on the left-hand side there that you want to avoid. You can run it in from the right side if need be. Quite a big green, fairly flat. The pin today is 15 on and 6 from the right, but you're definitely wanting to write a 4 down on the scorecard, maybe even a 3 if possible.
Brad Kennedy is our leader. He's on 16, fresh from what we think was an albatross on the 15th. His third shot coming up. Fair way to put a gap on the rest of the field, isn't it?
Yeah, that I don't know what colour you put on the scorecard with an albatross. I've never had one.
Never had one?
No, I've had a few eagles. On a par 5, I hit a drive into the trees, chipped out and hold my 3-wood for an eagle. So if I hit it straight, I would have made albatross. But no, I've never had one.
Nearly counts.
It almost counts, yeah. But Brad will be looking to get this up and down to keep that run going. He's bogey free today. 5 birdies and an albatross. That's very, very impressive going.
He was considering winding down on his golf career in 2020 before his New Zealand Open victory. And that opened up well, it would have opened up more doors if 2020 hadn't have been the year it was.
He's actually spent quite a bit of time with some of the high-performance squads around the country, doing a lot of his short game putting stuff.
He won't quite be particularly happy with that one, but given his putting prowess, it shouldn't be a problem. As I like to say, a good putt solves everything, basically. So.
All right, we'll go back a hole now and check in with Jeff Ogilvie about how to play the 15th, the par 5 that we just saw or heard about Brad coming up with the albatross. So Jeff can give us the insights as to how he would approach it.
All right, here we are on 15 at Rosebud, par 5, homeward stretch coming down. This is it's probably a certain time of the round for an opportunity. You've got a couple of par 5s the next 2 holes, so this one's a tricky one. So big dogleg right, not really long in modern day terms, but tough to hit the fairway. And it's about 280 yards over bunkers on the inside of the corner, and then again it's about 320 yards through the fairway, and it's going to be easy to hit the fairway. So this is less about distance and more about the line I pick off the tee. Certainly a hole that probably demands you to be aggressive off the tee. So most guys in the field, I think, are going to aim this kind of over these trees in front of us and try to smash it and try to get a short on into the par 5. So we'll try that one now and see how it works out. It's over the bunkers. We'll see how we go. So yeah, perfect drive here on 15 has me 153 or so, which is really only about a 9-iron today. So it's going to be a really short par 5. So really important to hit the fairway because it's going to be an eagle chance coming in. Good shot, eagle putt. Pushed it. So probably a hole we should mostly want to make birdies and eagles on, but there's a bit of trouble off the tee. I think if you hit the tee shot, you're going to hit a good, you're going to have a good hole. But if you miss the tee shot, you could make up a bit of a number here.
All right, so that was the before for Jeff Ogilvie. We'll find out how he goes in action. This is just the 16th before we head back there to Jeff.
Baxter Droop. Tidies up. Showing his frustrations.
The scoring's actually been easier on 16 than it has on 15 through the first couple of days of the tournament.
Really depends on that wind direction,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So another opportunity for a birdie.
So you'll notice with Brad's routine here, he's a very methodical golfer. He'll really focus on his process, quite a slow-moving sort of person in a way. And it's fascinating to watch different pre-shot routines in golfers and how they go about it. Some people are quite quick and bouncy, and others are very slow and very deliberate. Brad falls into that mode. The name of the game is what works for you, and it works for Brad, as you can see.
Working now as he continues to extend his lead.
You can see how pumped he is about that as he walks off.
So I don't think we knew what colour to put either there for the albatross.
It was a lighter grey, I think.
Yeah, lighter grey.
I think I'd want that highlighted a little more if that was my scorecard.
A neon green or something.
So Marcus Fraser also looking for a birdie here. So move to equal third. Which he does.
Yeah, Marcus is one of the best putters out on tour year in, year out, and he's quietly making his way up the leaderboard once again.
Piper stumps.
So back to 15 now.
On 15 for birdie.
I guess a lot of people are interested in the process of trying to work out the placement of the tees for the women and the men to get those numbers right. And it's something that I guess if we see more of this format, that they'll probably get better at over time, I suspect.
Yeah, I think it's always, that's got to be the toughest job in, a format like this, to get the balance right. But I mean, I think looking at the leaderboard, we got men, we got women, we got amateurs up there. So I think, I think hats off to the PGA, WPGA for doing a great job of it so far.
And I think the women's field was hit a bit more by COVID, and a number of the New South Wales and WA-based pros, including Hannah Green, were unable to make their way to Melbourne.
Yeah, I think that was really difficult, especially because it's the first, Players Series event as well. And a lot of WPGA's members are actually based overseas, playing on the LPGA or European tours. So, I know going forward, the fields are going to get bigger, stronger on the female side of things, but it's just a tough start for the event. Yeah.
So Barbieri for eagle. He'd love to answer. Oh, sorry, Griffin, yes. Close, but not close enough as far as he's concerned, so his slight frustrations continue. Still picks up the birdie. Gets a nod of approval.
Liz is happy with that one.
But an eagle would have been nice.
Here we have Barbieri, for eagle on the 15th to continue his excellent round of golf going. 4 under for the day so far. That'll move him to 5 under. And one back of Brad Kennedy, who's leading the way at the moment at 13 under par. Very steady round of golf. It's amazing. He's 61 Thursday, and then he comes out and 4 over through 4 on Friday. Ends up shooting a very nice 3 over par, as it turned out, and today he's back to 5 under again. Who said golf is not a seesaw game? It's amazing.
Yeah, he went out in 6 under 29 on day one. birdies at 1, 2, 3 and 8, as well as the eagle on the par 5 ninth. So what a start he made.
Piper will be disappointed with that 3 putt there. Nathan to tidy up for birdie and get him to 12 under. It's nice to have 1-footers for birdie, isn't it, Nick?
Tap-in birdies. I was always a fan of those.
Plenty of red numbers too.
And with the 16th coming, we'll be looking to keep that going.
So there's a look at the order of merit.
Brad Kennedy leading the way. Played in 4 events, almost $270,000. A couple of years ago, he finished 3rd on the order of merit. So that's always a goal for local players, is to win our home order of merit. Looking down the list, Anthony Quayle, Sheriff Felton, Wade Elmsby, who's a fine player in Europe for many years. Zach Murray did very well, got his European Tour card through the order of merit a couple of years ago. It's one of those things when I was a young pro, I was always checking that order of merit, seeing where you are, how do you compare to everyone else, and trying to get your name as high up as possible. And it leads to other things, you know, it gives you exemptions to other tours and bigger events, British Opens, US Opens, World Golf Championships.
Yeah, and with that carrot of going to the European Tour, I mean, of course, they're going to be keeping a close eye on that, aren't they?
Absolutely. You know, it even gets you into different stages of qualifying schools. That's how I got my start in Europe, as I was exempt through into the final stage.
All right, we're getting to the business end of round 3. We'll take a short break and be back with more action from the Rosebud Country.
So yes, my name's James Markhasani. To my right, younger sister Monica Markhasani. Top right, Dad Frank, and behind me Anthony. Living down in Dramana, we had a spare block next door to our place, and Dad would take us out there chipping, and there's plenty of video footage there of us chipping around and messing about like that, and then progression through the golf club. Yeah, school holidays was just spent here every day. Mum and Dad would drop us off in the morning, pick us up at night, and yeah, we had a good group of juniors here, and that's, yeah, we spent our whole junior, I guess, career and life and amateur golf here, just practicing pretty much every day, and to have a tournament here is pretty special.
Been to a lot of the Vic Opens, not playing, but watching the boys and the girls at the same time. I think that's pretty cool, and I'm obviously stoked to be able to play myself and go against my 2 brothers. Hopefully I can put up a fight for them. I don't know how that'll go, but no, really looking forward to it.
We do like to get out and have a game, and there's a bit of banter and plenty of competition there. We don't like losing, so if we can beat one another, we will try absolutely everything to do so. Oh, it's a lot different to a normal week. You normally got your head buried in the yardage book, trying to look at different lines and different run-outs, but you know, the practice rounds this week, I bought a yardage book, but I haven't looked at it. So yeah, that's a big advantage, just being comfortable on certain tee shots, which there's a few different lines out there that most players wouldn't take or wouldn't know, you know, certain misses. So having that to my advantage this week, you know, hopefully will help me a lot. But yeah, playing a tournament here is going to be completely different to a Wednesday, Saturday comp with the boys.
To have them here, I couldn't be prouder. It's going to be a really special week. As James said, have a bit of fun, and hopefully they'll be up on the leaderboard on Sunday. It'll be good for the club too, you know. The club's put a lot of time and effort into the kids as well. They've been very helpful over the years, so it's going to be a great week.
Yes, the Markhasani family. Dad Frank, who played over 50 games of VFL, AFL footy for Fitzroy and Carlton, and proud members at Rosebud as we go out to 17.
Beautiful shot there by Brad. Have that putt to go 10 under for the day. Something you don't say too often in a round of golf.
No. As we go back to 15. And we'll head down to BJ. Good to see James Markhasani a 5 under round for the day to get to 6 under. So after not quite being able to put that local knowledge to great use over the first couple of rounds, he's had a good one in round 3. Brendan, what's the latest with Jeff?
Latest with Jeff. Jeff played the conservative route, so in his whole description when he played it earlier in the week, he talked about how important the tee shot was, and he laid it back. Mikaloozi was a bit more aggressive, taking 3 wood off the tee, I think, and then young Bell hit it left, laid up, and he's hit a great shot to about 8 feet. So Jeff's got a pretty straightforward chip, perfect lie. Just short of pin high, but plenty of green to play with. So if he's not hitting this inside 4 or 5 feet, he's going to be disappointed. There you go. Low little spinner coming out, releasing just under the hole, uphill putt to about 5 feet.
You make it sound like an easy game there, BJ. Love it.
You know how good he is with that shot. So you've got, if you were standing over that, Nick, mate, that was an easy shot for you too. So I picked my targets. But Mick has hit a good shot in. He missed the fairway to the left, or ran through the fairway. The fairway does slope pretty hard, kind of right to left on the tee shot in the landing area. So a lot of these guys are finding themselves just through the fairway in the rough. And Mick has left himself under the hole here with probably about 15 feet for eagle. So a really good look at it. Just left it on the hole, under-hit it a bit, just breaking right on him. The group before us too left everything short right, so it's got a bit more slope to this green than everyone's seeing, and it is uphill for these guys. Pin at the back right-hand location. Hit a great shot in. Bell from laying back, having a chip out of the trees, he ran through the fairway on the dog leg, so he's got a good look here for birdie from about 8 feet.
Hopefully you learned something from the other two there, how slow it is up the hill.
He's walked it in.
Drained it. Walked it in. Kevin Na style. This is an important one for Jeff. Again, on this par 5, easily gettable. He's going to lose another one to the field if he doesn't hold this, and then we've got another par 5, as we made mention before, coming up.
Yes, he's been 6 under for the 7 par 5s he's played so far in the tournament. And he keeps that going.
Now, that was a good stroke. It's easy when you're missing a lot of putts to try and start steering those shorter ones, and nice follow through there and just let the ball roll nicely into the hole. Nicoluzi just to clean up here. That pin's a long way back, so it's actually hard to get the ball back pin high, so that's why you're seeing a lot of players come up a little short.
Regulation for the 3 guys.
Another birdie opportunity for Brad Kennedy. He's on 17th green and putting together an outstanding round.
A little bit down the hill this one, 8 feet. Should be one of the quicker putts on this green.
Just slid by, probably ran out of speed if anything there.
17's been a tough hole through the first couple of rounds. Almost for Brad Kennedy, but he remains our leader at 14 under.
9 under for the day. The hole looks like a bucket, so missing those is pretty frustrating, but I'm sure he's still happy with his round. Finish it off with a nice tee shot on 18. If you want to watch a pure putting stroke, look at the rhythm of Marcus Fraser. Back and through. Didn't even need to see that go in, it was that good.
So Jeff's going to tell us how to play the 16th hole now.
All right, 16. Second par 5 in a row, which is pretty handy at the end of the round, 15, 16 being par 5s. We like par 5s, and that's our chance to sort of make a bit of a score. So this one's a little bit longer, but a little bit more normal. That last one's kind of a crazy sort of dog leg, and you really got to pick your line off the tee. This one's just, you've got to hit 2 really quality shots. Kind of, it goes up to a hill. It's about 300 yards to the top of the hill, so it's a pretty big hit to get to the top of the hill, and a massive reward if you could probably hit it 320, and you get it going down and hit a pretty short on into the par 5. But it's, for most guys, they're going to be landing this into an upslope, me included. So it's going to be a really good drive and sort of a long iron and sort of try to go from there. So no real tricks, there's bunkers on the left. Try to hit a solid one that goes up the fairway, really. So we'll see how we go. And hit a pretty good one, hopefully. Yeah, ended up on the upslope on the fairway, so line second shot, but I'm still playing. So I'm 18 paces on the red dot up here, and the red dot's telling me it's 202 yards to the front. We've got 220 to the front. We don't have pins today, but we're going to say it's 15 on, so I got 235 pin. And here it's a little blind. Can't really see the top of the flag because, as I said, we're kind of on an upslope going over a hill. So I would normally just find the tree at the back of the green that's kind of on line with the pin. There it is. So I pick my tree over the green and just sort of try to get the line right. I'm not trying to miss the green, but if I miss it, I want to miss it in a spot where the up and down's easy, especially at this point, because you really want to make a birdie. So the pin here in the middle, so I'll probably just go straight at it. But as I said, during the tournament, move the pins a little bit, might adjust sort of my line into the green. Maybe I go a little bit left, a little bit right of the pin, just to kind of make the next one a little bit easier. So this one's going to be 235, which is about a 3-iron for me. But we're into the wind, so I'll probably hit my next one up, which is like a hybrid. Ooh, got to run up the hill to see that one. Just right. So here we go. We ended up with 15, 20 feet for eagle. Nice putt. So it all worked out very well here at 16. So another chance for eagle. It's a relatively flat surface when you get on it. There will be some eagles here, I think, this week. It'll be a relatively easy hole, but again, you got to hit 2 good shots to get here. So see if we can make a 3 and get some good vibes for the tournament. So banged it through the break. All right, birdie. So 2 birdies in a row, 15, 16, that's really what we want, obviously. It's a chance to make a score of those 2 holes, and I've done it today, so hopefully during the tournament, can hit suitably good enough shots like that and do it again.
Oh, wouldn't he love a birdie, or even better on the 16th? Some of those great shots taken from the OFX Skycam. OFX are the official foreign exchange partner of both the PGA of Australia and the ISPS Hander PGA Tour of Australasia. Started in Sydney in 1998 and now operate in offices in London, Sydney, Auckland, Hong Kong, Singapore, Toronto and San Francisco.
Over to Matt Griffin on the 16th.
2 over for the day.
Frustrating day for Matt today. But still with a chance for a birdie there on 16. Nathan having a good look at this putt. To get him a couple closer to Kennedy. And possibly into the final group for tomorrow. Only recently turned professional. From New South Wales. He's been top 50 in the world golf rankings for amateur.
A Bonnie Doon member, I believe, which is where the next Players Series event is being held in March.
He's managed by Braithen Astor, who has been on his bag a bit as well. Some of the tournaments he's played and given him great sporting experience.
Some good knowledge there. Here's young Piper Stubbs. I can't wait to talk to these young juniors after this week and see what you know, what they've got from it. Good job there, Piper. And hopefully they haven't been too shy or nervous to drill the professionals with some questions. I know I'd be trying to, I'd be acting it like a sponge out there if that was me.
What would the sort of things you'd be trying to gain?
I guess not, depending where they're at in their amateur career, I guess, and you know what level. If they're looking to turn professional, I'd be asking about, you know, certain pathways, or just experiences, whether it be with caddy, whether it's travel.
So more things around the game rather than
the game itself, I guess. Yeah,
All right, buddy.
that would be me. Matt picking up a birdie there on 16.
2 more on the way home.
Liz looks happy with that one.
And we just heard her say 2 more on the way home, and that'll be a nice dinner ahead.
Now, wouldn't you love to hear that from your caddy? Positivity. Don't know about you, Nick, but when I had my husband on the bag, it's definitely the good times were good and the tough times were probably worse. Is that a good way to put it?
That probably is a good analogy. Yeah, many times my wife told me to get my head out of my my butt. So while playing the game.
Yep.
The hardest part is separating the two when you're off the golf course. So.
Correct.
Brendan, what's ahead here?
Arbel's got 222, so on the upslope, which is going to obviously send the ball higher off the face, and then it's into off the left. So both going to be aggressive. I actually lost that in the nice blue sky behind this green. Can't quite see. Jeff's got, he looks up at the wind. He's a little bit swirly, so Jeff's got 214 flags, so flag 15 on 5 from the right, so there's plenty of room left here for the miss, so it's not too difficult, I think, if he does miss it right in that trap. But probably the worst place is long right. He's got hybrid here. This is 4 hybrid, I think he calls it.
He just showed us how to hit this shot in the hole description. Same yardage too, so we'll see if he hits the same shot.
Yep. And he's missed it right of that right bunker, so I think he actually got the wind wrong then, because he pointed to his caddy just before he hit it and almost gave like a down off the right kind of feel. And it definitely wasn't that, especially it's easy for me to say because I'm standing on top of the hill, but he's missed it right. Mikaloozi was in that bunker left to the fairway trap. He's laid up. Had no chance of going for the green.
So he just needed to watch his own video there, Jeff. Speaking of which, Jeff, Marcus Fraser and Suo played 9 holes with some juniors back on Tuesday.
Get a good picture of your flight off those 2 lines, your start line and your finish line. Strike that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? It's you know, all pretty talented young kids, and yeah, hit it a long way, but I think everyone hits a long way compared to me. So,
I mean, I hit it past them a few times, which kind of made me feel good, but I don't know, they don't swing it too hard, which I probably should take into my own game.
Did you hit 8 then?
Yeah, I hit it.
So try and hit 7 and 6, try and hit it the same distance,
Yeah.
and just mess around with the flight a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the 6 is going to feel like you're just chipping it.
Yeah.
So instead of just going, okay, bang, it's 8 on, got 1 shot.
You can also hit one that's like 54 and you just like try and hit one, run one up there. It's hard pin to get it all the way there because the green's so far back there.
I don't know if I was
hitting it that far when I was 15. I would like to think that I was, but that would mean that I haven't gotten any longer. So
it was amazing. They're just like so lovely people and teaching us like different shots out there, how to spin the ball and different ways to play different shots into flag. It was just amazing.
Great to impart all that knowledge and experience. It's part of the mission of the Jeff Ogilvie Foundation to share the beauty of golf with young Australians who may not otherwise experience the thrill of the fairways, the camaraderie of a group and the joy of the perfect shot. They want to ensure a wide range of young players, boys and girls, can enjoy the wonderful game while they're growing up and to develop the leaders of the future who have learned lifelong and transferable skills from golf. To see Australia's next generation of champions on the professional circuit as well, regardless of their capacity to finance such an endeavour. So some great work by Jeff and his foundation. Let's go ahead now to Brad Kennedy. He's on 18. Can he bring it home? Here's his second shot.
Back into the breeze, the pin tucked on the front left today. Only 5 paces on, 5 from the left. Definitely not the easiest shot into that breeze, but he's missed it in the right spot. The right-hand side, that shouldn't be too difficult to get up and down.
He'll have plenty of green to work with there. Basic chip shot.
Let's roll back to the 16th. Sun shining late in the day at Rosebud. Out of the trap.
Not too bad a bunker shot there. He looks a little frustrated. Looks a little frustrated with that, but it's still a birdie putt. And to keep himself, that'd get him back to 1 over par and keep him in the mix for the junior competition for tomorrow. Here we are with Jeff, who did hit that hybrid right. He's going to have to play this elevated shot over the trap here. Quite a tight lie. He does have some green to work with. He's probably nipped that a little too well there. It's stopped on a dime. That surprised him. He's going to be disappointed with that one.
His most famous chip shot off the tight lie was in the 2006 US Open at Winged Foot. Elevated, much like that one, but he got that one a little closer, knocked the putt in, and US Open champion at the end of the day.
Maybe he was doing a little more practice on his short game in 2006, do you think?
Possibly.
No sign of Phil today out there.
Yeah, I was at the US Open. That was quite a finish. Watching that all unfold from the clubhouse, I couldn't believe it. Neither could a lot of the American public as well.
It was a nice early morning here, wasn't it? That's for sure.
What are you seeing here, Brendan?
I actually don't know. You've got a good view of it with the camera. I think it's a little bit of left to right. His side, yeah, falling right. There you go, straight in the hole though. Good birdie in after finding the fairway trap, laying up at 107 metres in for his third. So perfect shot in, pin high, leaving himself with a good birdie opportunity. I think Jeff's next to go, so as you made mention, he was pretty flat with that. It was into the wind, so I think as a player, Nick, you're expecting that to bite pretty hard, so he had a bit of green to play with. So I think he just hit it too good in the end, but left himself, I'm going to say about 10 feet for birdie.
That was an excellent 4 by Mikaloozi, by the way, too. That was he played it patiently, trouble off the tee, got it into a position where you can get it up and down. You can learn a lot from holes like that.
So after the double bogey at 12, he's had a par at 13 and 14, and then consecutive birdies. So big putt for Jeff.
Going to be disappointed to walk away with a par on a reachable par 5.
It's probably the club selection for his second there, guys. Left him said long right. He's just past pin high, but it was probably the second worst spot you can miss it on the green, other than being short-siding yourself over this trap. So it was probably just over club there and brought long into play. So if he had left it short right here, it was a really good play, a really good miss. So probably, I'm not sure who we blame, Nick. It's left and right is the coach's fault, and short and long is the caddy's fault. So not sure who to blame on that one.
Definitely not himself, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll just cross that off.
Yeah. Probably the wind gets a blame in there as well. But again, the caddy's got to look after that.
It leaves Jeff 6 shots behind Brad Kennedy. So we'll have to get a birdie over the last couple of holes. Get a bit more manageable heading into the final round. Let's catch up with our leader then, Brad Kennedy, on 18.
Bit of green to work with. Beautiful shot. He'll have about 3 feet left for a bogey free 9 under par 62.
Dinner's going to taste pretty nice. He cleans up there, isn't it? Impressive round of golf. I look forward to hearing about the albatross.
How about that albatross, eh?
Yep, look forward to hearing about it.
Beautiful view back down the 17th. Sweeping dogleg left. Pine trees either side. It's got a magical feel to that hole when I stood on that the first time.
Go back to the 18th here with young junior Baxter Droop. Just read a little too much into that and hit it a little hard too, actually.
What are your keys to green reading, Stacey or Nick? What's the first thing you look at? This is. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah. Why are you writing notes there?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. And I talk to people a lot about this. Is when you're standing and watching people putt from the side, halfway to the hole, you kind of know if it's going in or not. So actually, looking from the side is a big part of green reading, which a lot of people don't do. Generally, from the low side is best. That way, you can see the slope and the break. The high side, it's a bit harder to see, but definitely look from behind your ball as per normal. But from the side, you see so much. And the other thing is really take into account the slopes as you're walking up to the green. Like, does it slope from front to back, left to right? And you can pick up little bits of information as you go along there. And then if your playing partners are putting before you, just keep an eye on what they're doing as well. But pace in putting is so important. Pace determines the line, not the other way around. And the best putters in the world that I've ever played with very rarely hit the putts 3 or 4 feet past. They're always 1 or 2 feet past if they do go past the hole. Much more stress-free way to play the game as well.
And I find actually doing a couple of practice strokes along the line of a putt, if it's if it's quite some distance, I find that sort of would give me a great read from where I think it's going to break from.
What a fine round from Brad Kennedy. And he looks as if he will be the leader heading in to the 4th and final round, a 62 without a blemish and including an albatross, a 2 and a par 5 on the 15th. And congratulations all round for Brad Kennedy. Queenslander, can he keep it going for another day? Let's check the leaderboard.
That's probably the biggest gap we've seen on the leaderboard, isn't it? Two shot lead.
Yeah, those two at the top there, they've just separated themselves a little.
Marcus Fraser hanging in there. Veteran Victorian, still with a hole to play. He's -4 for the day. He's at 9 under. And the juniors as well. Their own competition going over 36 holes on the weekend. 3 under is the score to beat at the moment.
Some great scoring out there from the young amateurs. And again, great to see we've got mixture of boys and girls right in the mix here as well. Great for the event.
Back with the closing holes in just a moment. Let's take a fly over the 17th. OFX Skycam. What do we see here?
The 17th hole, playing 398 off the men and 356 off the women's. Sharp dogleg here. You really need to get your drive going over this hill. If you can get this over the hill, it really, you'll only leave yourself sort of a short iron to wedge in. But if you hit that upslope, it really changes things. Quite a tough shot in here, depending on the pin location. Today it's 13 on and 4 from the right, so it does have a little bit of a false front there. So if you do spin your wedges, it can leave yourself a difficult little chip shot. But it's definitely one hole where you'd be still looking to pinch a birdie coming in if you get it over that hill.
Yeah, there's been a few birdies today on 17. Let's get to Brendan. Looking good, BJ.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm here with Jeff Ogilvie and David Mikaloozi's ball. Young Al Bell, again, outdrove the pro guys and found the middle of the fairway, but as you can see behind me, they do have a bit of tree trouble. Jeff's got 100 to the flag. David says she got 97, so as Stacey alluded to, pins tucked on the right there, so can't quite see it from here. Got to hit over the hill on the rise, so blinded by their second shot, but nothing that should be too troublesome. They should get up near the green somewhere, and if they play a really good shot, have a chance at birdie.
Well, let's head up to the green then on 17, and birdie opportunity for Nathan Barbieri. Second place at the moment. Can he get within one of the leader? Stands up on it. He knew he had not given it enough straight away. And hands to face. Exasperated.
Frustrating, leaving it short in the jaws there. But he's still got a solid round going. Back down the fairway, or I should say back down the rough on 17. Jeff just having a look, walking up to the rise, having a look at what he's got ahead of him. As Brendan mentioned, he does have a shot to the front right of the green. Let's see what he can do here.
I think he'll thread it through the fork in that middle tree. What do you think? Just to make it interesting? No? Okay.
Well, I'm thinking he's looking to the right side of that, but we know he's good.
Yeah.
He's got that running down the right side there. He's put it out to the right of the green, but I'd say that's a really good result there. That's going to be a pretty basic up and down. And Nicoluzi looks like he's got a little tighter shot here. He's going to have to play to the left side of that fork that Nick was talking about. Don't think he's going through it either, Nick. He's telling it to sit, but again, he's just left it sort of short right, and he's going to have more of a slope to deal with by the looks of that there. Jeff sort of got it up onto the same level, but we'd be hoping 9 times out of 10 that Mikaloozi could get that up and down. And here we have a bell again in the middle of the fairway, guys. With a short iron in. Great shot in there. Left himself a 12, 15 footer for birdie.
As you called earlier, if you get a good drive away on that hole, it is definitely a birdie opportunity. You don't get the drive away, you're just trying to make 4, which, as you can see with Jeff and David, that's what they have in front of them.
And for our club golfers, just managing that risk from that sort of position, what are the things that go through your mind?
Well, the interesting part about the shots they had there is that's a shot that most people just don't practice. You know, when you've got a shot between trees like that, no one really practices that on the range. So it's a good chance to do that you know, with a little 7-iron, 100-metre target, things like that. Just hit little low shots that that you can be comfortable with when you are out on the golf course. And then it's a matter of, okay, what's the risk reward if I take it left of the tree, right of the tree, and so on and so forth. So you know, putting the ball back in play is the #1 priority. We head back to the 18th green, and Stephanie Bunk putting for birdie here from about 25 feet.
This would be good for her confidence if she could pinch this one. Been a pretty tough day out there. That ponytail again there, Nick. How would you handle that?
Well, the wind's in the right direction for that one. If it was...
What are you asking Nick for?
Yeah, maybe that's one for Tommy Fleetwood when he's got the ponytail going. But
hair toss, check the nails.
She slides that past. We'll have maybe a 3-footer coming back. I mean, she'll still be in a great position for tomorrow. Here we go back to 17 with Mikaloozi. He's actually chose to putt that. He really didn't have too much green to work with there, and I think that's one of the risks when you take the putter, Nick, off the green, that you do think you've got to be so aggressive with it.
yeah, exactly. And I'd say the lie dictated that one. If he had a good lie, I think he would have chipped it. But it is a little tougher to judge with the putter from long distance off the green. Jack Holland trying to finish his round off. Oh, that's a shame. He's played some very nice golf today. 3 under par. He'll just mark and wait his turn. And Jeff's putting as well. So obviously the lies down there probably aren't conducive to trying to chip it. Might have to bump it into the hill, and it's a bit of a guess as to what that first bounce will do. So,
and with the pin was 5 off the right as well, so we know they haven't got much to land it in there. Here's Bunky cleaning up on the last for par to stay at 3 under.
So a tough day, but she's fought through a 74. 6 under. She's at 3 under now.
excellent round of golf there from Jack Holland. He's going to sleep well tonight. Get ready for tomorrow's
one off the junior lead.
Exactly, yeah, it's going to be a nice little competition tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. A number of players, probably about 9 or 10 players, even par or better. Maybe a bit of a wind gust there, I'd say. Time to reset, which is always good if you're not thinking about the right things while you're over the ball. Good things usually don't happen, so it's best just to step away. And yeah, you can see his pant legs there flapping in the breeze, so he's just waiting for that to calm down and reset. Left to right down the hill here. And it's certainly been an up and down day for him today, so we'll go back over his round and digest what he did and think, okay, what can I improve on for tomorrow? And it's just all part of the learning process when you're starting out as a professional golfer.
That's right. I mean, he's still, you know, he's such a rookie in the professional scheme of things. Like, yeah, he has turned pro, you know, over a year ago or so, but really he doesn't have many rounds under his belt at all.
No, competitive rounds in pro tournaments, that's the key. Just, you know, Peter Fowler, who was in the field this week, he talks about after 5 years of playing, he had maybe 120 or maybe with him 150 events under his belt because he liked to play a lot, and he thought, yeah, now I'm kind of ready. You know, now I know what I'm doing, and that's 5 years into a career. So I thought he was walking another one in there, so not quite.
But an easy 4.
Yeah, tap in pars.
He's got the head shake going already. He doesn't need to learn that.
I think he's handled himself very well out there today. He looks like a professional amateur, doesn't he? I think so.
Yeah, I think the way amateur golf and the tournaments, the way they structure them now, you're basically coming out of the elite amateur golf. You feel like you're a pro anyway, in a way.
Oh, that's another big miss for Jeff.
And that's where these events are, going to be so important for these juniors and amateurs getting starts in these. They're going to really help the transition to professional golf.
Tough afternoon in the end for Jeff Ogilvie. We'll catch up with him in a moment, but time to look at the Odyssey putt of the day. And Callaway are a major partner of the PGA. David Gleason at 18. Callaway also a partner of the PGA's Volkswagen Scramble, which is Australia's largest pro amateur teams event with over 30,000 golfers participating every year. Nicely done at 18 for David Gleason. Of course, Callaway has just introduced the new Epic Speed drivers with the new Jailbreak AI speed frame. Back with live golf with Nathan Barbieri. Second shot at 18, and he's got an opportunity to get within one of the lead. So let's take a closer look with thanks to the OFX Skycam at the final hole at the beautiful Rosebud Country Club.
We've got the 18th hole par 4, 350 metres, fairly straight, slight dogleg left, but this fairway tilts a lot from right to left. There's a spine running through the middle of it where the ball feeds down left towards those bunkers, where you stay up top on the right. Gives you a nice view to a very long green, about 45 metres deep, but today the pin's right at the front, 5 on, 5 from the left. That left-hand bunker is definitely a no-no, so anyway, just right of the pin, give yourself a nice look at birdie. Players will be being some sort of iron off the tee and then short to a mid-iron in, I'd say. Back into the breeze. Beautiful setting there in front of the clubhouse. I'm sure during the member comps, the people sit out on the front there with a glass and just watch people as they come in.
I think there'd be a bit of banter thrown from there, Nick.
Possibly. I was just talking about this front left-hand bunker. Possibly not the place to hit it, but let's see if Piper can get one close from here. Yeah, probably on the downslope of that bunker, like by the looks from where she was. That was a pretty unfortunate lie I think she had there, which just made the shot even more difficult.
Yeah, that's a tough way to play and finish 18, I guess you'd say. And we really spoke too soon about the wrong place to miss it, didn't we, Nick? 2 out of the 3 players in that front left-hand bunker. Matt Griffin here.
It's downhill to the flag from where he is. Plus, he's got to get it up quickly. He's probably looking somewhere long left, 15 feet away or something that he might be able to play it to and potentially hole the putt. If you get a good lie here and you can create some spin, well, you do have a chance to get it close. Oh, he's played that beautifully. Beautiful shot. And probably on the upslope a little bit there, and he's fantastic shot.
One over for the day, Matt Griffin. Started at 6 under. Well, our leader, Brad Kennedy, after a 9 under round today, 63, has been good enough to join us. Brad, what a day. You're 2 up now. You must be delighted.
Yeah, it was an interesting day. The breeze is completely different to the last 2 days, so I really had to evaluate the course this morning and just sort of see how the course is going to play, and got off to a really nice start. And yeah, to make an albatross during the round, it really made off for a great finish.
Well, tell us about that albatross at 15.
Well, I sort of took on the corner and just didn't quite get it to the fairway, so I was coming out of the rough and had 181 to the flag, and felt like it was a bit of a flyer, so I decided to hit a 7-iron and just came out absolutely perfect, and I actually thought it was going to go too far and landed nicely on the green, and I could only just see the flag, and a couple of people up there started cheering, so yeah, couldn't believe it went in. It's my first ever albatross in professional golf.
Hey Brad, it's Nick O'Herney. I was actually about to ask you, have you ever had an albatross before? I know I certainly haven't, so congratulations on that. But amazing round of golf, no bogeys today, so that's always a nice way to to play when you get into the clubhouse with no blue numbers on the card, so to speak.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I drove it really nicely today, so I gave myself a lot of opportunities, and yeah, I think just still a bit of rust on the clubs. I haven't actually played a proper round of golf since October, so there's a lot of wedges in hand, and so I was really happy off the tee and managed to make some putts today, which is nice.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about how you managed 2020. It's obviously been difficult for everyone, and pro golf was no different. So how did you handle things?
To be honest, it was after New Zealand Open. It was quite frustrating to not have your own destiny in your own control. It took me a while to sort of just let go a little bit, and fortunately spent some time at home with the family, which has been great. And it was, yeah, I'd actually didn't touch a club for 6 months, and then I got the call up for the Zozo Championship on the PGA Tour, and so 5 weeks of practice and jumped in the deep end. And since then, it's just been a matter of trying to stay fresh. And I knew these events were going to come up, so I've sort of been doing a little bit of work over Christmas and the Christmas holidays. But yeah, it's definitely been tough, and hopefully now all going well, we can have a good summer.
Well, congratulations. Terrific round. It looks like you're going to have the lead going into the final round, and be able to talk about that albatross for a fair while to come. So good luck tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Brad Kennedy, who is our leader and also has produced the Adidas Performance of the Day. No doubt about that, Nick, as we have a look at him off for the tee at the par 3 11th.
The 11th hole played as the toughest hole yesterday, actually, but he certainly didn't make it look too difficult today. Rolling the ball beautifully, as we sort of talked earlier. Putting is a big strength of his game. Project One Putt that he has going at the moment, that he helps golfers with. This is rolling in a birdie putt there on 16, the par 5. And just slotting home a nice little 3-footer on 18. Makes dinner taste a little better when they go in at the end of a day. And 6 birdies and an albatross. Amazing.
This is a birdie opportunity for Nathan Barbarian. Oh, talk about how dinner's going to taste. Just a little bit more sour than it might have been if that had dropped. And you can see it in the body language. Looks like he's going to have a couple of shots to make up tomorrow on Brad Kennedy.
Yeah, even though it shouldn't make a difference, you know, that last putt, this might have shoot 70 for the day. Why should the last stroke mean any different? But it always does, unfortunately. But
momentum's such a big part of any sport, isn't it, really?
It certainly is, yeah. You can feel it shift throughout the round and at the end of rounds a lot of the time. Matt Griffin here for would have been incredible up and down out of that front left-hand bunker from 4 feet.
Not to be for Matt Griffin. That's a long last look.
Barbieri just cleaning up for his par here. Nicely done. He finishes 5 under for the day. Lovely round of 66 to finish 12 under for the tournament. 2 strokes behind Brad Kennedy. In a great position as a young professional early in his career to notch up his first victory.
So he's had a bit of everything, hasn't he? Had the blinding first day and then disappointing second. But really good steady round today for he's 66. So he's 2 from the lead at 12 under. He should be well satisfied with his position going into the final day.
Yeah, that round was certainly a confidence boost, because when you have that, you know, that blinder, that 10 under, and then you back it up with a 3 over. It can dent the confidence a little bit, but he's managed to back it up with another fine round, and he'll know that he's in good form going into tomorrow. David Nicoluzi, second shot here into 18. Ball above the feet here, so it's going to be turning from right to left. So you'll want to aim a bit further right, more towards that right-hand bunker we can see. Turn it in. One good swing to finish off the round and give him some momentum going into tomorrow. And not the ideal spot there, that left-hand front bunker, but as we saw with Matt Griffin, he managed to get it close. If you get a good lie in there, you might be able to get that up and down as well. BJ?
Here's Tag Heuer connected golf watch yardage. Jeff's got 104, but the difficult thing is this wind. So Stace and Nick, you know, one of the worst things he can do is get the ball in the air with a bit of spin. So tough little shot here from 104 yards, just right of the flag. Good shot. Arbell's found himself in the right fairway. He's got a shot, he's got a tree. A little bit of tree branch trouble in front of him, but gonna have to, I think, move it a little bit left to right. But the wind is pumping up here. We're slightly on top of a hill here, and there's nothing behind this green. Obviously the grandstand or the picnic area isn't big enough to block the wind, so it's probably a good 2 clubs here where he just plays a little knockdown. And he's hit a cracker.
What a shot.
Great shot.
Couple of great shots to finish with from our final group. Brendan mentioned the Tag Heuer Golf, the ultimate app and smartwatch for all golfers. Track and improve your game with the Tag Heuer Golf app from your smartphone or directly on your connected watch golf edition. We'll take our final break and come back to see those putts. Wouldn't Jeff Ogilvie love as the tournament host to finish what's been a pretty tough afternoon with a birdie on 18. So David with his third shot out of the trap on 18 just a few moments ago. And splashed it out beautifully.
Apparently that front left bunker is a good spot to miss it.
Apparently it is.
Fantastic shot.
So Mikaloozi did tap that in and finish with a par on 18. Can Jeff get a birdie? Oh, it's been that sort of day. The double really has put a dent in the scorecard for Jeff Ogilvie. And he's going to have to produce his best on the final day to be in contention.
Yeah, he's just playing the good host there, letting other people just get ahead of him and ease his way around the golf course tomorrow, I'm sure. Abel Edouard putting for birdie here after that stellar second shot.
So Jeff's going to find himself 7 shots behind Brad Kennedy. Great experience for the young man there, as all the juniors, but to get to play with the US Open winner in Jeff Ogilvie, how good is that? And he held his own, really, didn't he, in the action we saw this afternoon?
Oh, he did more than hold his own. I think he outplayed him from
well, I was
off the
trying
tee.
to be kind to the old fella.
Yeah, but great experience for him.
Let's have a look at some of the Daimler highlights from the day. Daimler Trucks bring you some of the great moments from the day.
Fantastic round by Kirsten Rodsley on the 18th, shooting 7 under for the day. 8th hole, this is Jack Holland, I believe.
He finished at -2. Jack Jr. having a terrific time now at Rosebud.
Terry Pokadaris rolling another putt in. Nice round of golf for him as well today in these conditions. The 11th hole, the par 3. One of the highlights for coverage today was Jack Holland's chip in here. Just a beautiful shot, just long and right. Never looked like missing. Seal of approval from the crowd.
Indeed.
Jeff Ogilvie, one of his best shots of the day on the same hole. Look at that golf swing. Rhythm and flow. Pin high, 7 feet there.
Birdies at 11 and 15.
Barbieri on the 14th. Beautiful shot in there. Rolled it in for another birdie. One of 5 today in his round of 66. Sits in second position, 2 shots behind Brad Kennedy.
And we'll be back tomorrow from midday, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, for the final round of the Players Series Victoria. And it should be a terrific final round. Brad Kennedy will take a 2-shot lead from Nathan Barbieri, so he's at 14 under, Barbieri at 12, and Marcus Fraser is at 9 under. So on behalf of the team, we'll see you tomorrow from midday for the final round of the Players Series Victoria.